give us a thumbs up, we will start. Yeah, Mr. Billy, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. We will formally open this hearing of the Illinois Board of Review for today, Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. Several preliminary matters that I'd like everyone just to be aware of. After the board has introduced itself, we will invite the law department to give us a list of properties and cases that have been resolved, or a request has been made for a continuance. After that, we will then start the formal hearing for each case. I would advise everyone to please listen closely, as if your address is called or your name and is noted as moot or moot complied, that means your case is resolved for today. You can sign off and go about your day. However, of course, this is a public hearing, so you're permitted and welcome to stay if you choose to. But I would ask you not to interrupt the hearing to try to have us explain the difference between a moot case and a moot complied case. If you need that explanation, please call the administrator's office and someone will explain that to you. The other thing, this is as if this hearing, although it's being held on Zoom, is as if you were in a formal courtroom. So we expect everyone to address themselves accordingly, which means you can't be in your easy chair reclining, you can't be in your bed sleeping, you must be dressed appropriately. We need you to be upright, erect, and formally engaged. Men should remove their hats. You will not be permitted to smoke, eat, or drink during the hearing. Water, of course, is an acceptable beverage, but this is not a coffee house. This is a process whereby we're trying to give you a fair hearing of your appeal. Also, if there are other people in your space, they can't be talking to you while you are in the hearing. We expect you to be the only person who speaks, and you can't invite other people to speak for you. You can call a witness who will be sworn, but you can't invite somebody to just give you side notes as the hearing is in progress. Okay, the board and other panelists will introduce themselves, after which we will hear from the law department. Again, I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair.
Ralph Pincus, board member, and one other thing the chairman didn't mention is that if you're in a vehicle when we are calling your case, you need to be in a stationary, safe, parked place. Correct, Mr. Chairman?
Absolutely. I forgot that.
It's a lot to remember.
Yep.
I'm Steve Pettit, board member.
Roger S. Tennant, senior board member.
Beverly Penn, board member.
In Washington, board member.
Brian McSherry, board counsel.
Administrator.
Mr. Wade, administrator, we didn't hear your full name.
Richard Wade, board administrator.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. If there's nothing else, we will now hear from the law department.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Jim Kelly on behalf of the city.
Afternoon, Mr. Kelly. What do you have for us?
Starting with number 1, 2023-3990, 2342 West Seibert Street, Dallas and Samantha Martin, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 2, 2023-3794, 1355 North Front Street, Mulherron Partners LLC, moot complied.
Moot complied. Thank you.
Number 3, 2023-3438, 3021 Vare Avenue, Ibrahim Shaji. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a $2,000 fine.
$2,000 fine. Thank you.
Number 8, 2023-4456, 1517 to 1519 North Bailey Street, Brewery Town.
Wait a minute. What number is that again?
I have it as number 8.
Number 8. Okay, thank you. My apologies.
That's a continuance request by agreement.
Okay, this is a joint continuance request?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, we're noted as continued.
Thank you. Number 9, 2023-4451, 2908 North Stillman Street, Linda Solomon. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a 30-day stay of enforcement.
30-day stay. Okay, thank you.
Number 10, 2023-4288, 417 North Redfield Street, Pauline Byard, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 11, 2023-4311, 3546 G Street, Luz Pedraza, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 12, 2023-4146, 3546 G Street, Luz Pedraza. It's an agreement for a city affirm and a $150 fine.
Thank you.
Number 13, 2023-4463, 1035 to 1037 Oak Lane, Eric Edmonds. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a 6-month stay of enforcement.
6-month stay. Thank you.
Number 14, 2023-4104, 2311 to 2313 West Sargent Street, Enoch Jerome, moot.
Thank you.
Number 16, 2023-4135, 606 Union Street, Ruo Camerata, moot complied.
Complied. Thank you.
Number 17, 2023-4126, 1425 Higbee Street, Joel Santos, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 18, 2023-4091, 2211 East Firth Street, Joel Ross, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 19, 2023-4160, 5240 Montour Street, Jin Huey Joang, moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Jim, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
maybe if we could have the interpreter read that one.
Okay. Well, the interpreter is for which language?
Mandarin.
Mandarin. Okay. Is
Okay,
interpreter
number
Mandarin
19.
interpreter present?
Yes, this is Mike Wang, Mandarin interpreter.
All right. Sir, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm that you will faithfully translate English to Mandarin, Mandarin to English for this matter regarding 5240 Montour Street?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Sir, what I'd ask you to do, we're going to read the information in again in English. For everything that's read in English, please repeat that in Mandarin, okay?
Certainly.
Okay. Please read it in again.
Number 19, HA 2023-4160, 5240 Montour Street, Jin-
Interpreter?
第19个案件 HA 2023-4160地址5240 Montour Street。
Jin Huey Joang, moot.
金水珠案件处理完毕。
Mr. Yuang, are you present?
Okay, this interpreter, can you give me the spelling of the name so I can properly
Yeah.
address
First
them?
name is Jin. Second name is Hui. Last name is Joang.
钟金惠先生，钟金惠先生或者是女士，您在线上吗？
Is anyone responding?
I didn't get any response.
Okay, thank you. So that means that this matter is moot. So we will not be having a hearing on this matter today. So I believe there's nothing else. Interpreter, that would be all we will need from you today.
All right, just want to make sure if there's no other case need Mandarin interpreter, then I will be disconnecting now.
But before you disconnect, Mr. Wade, is there anything else we'll need the interpreter for?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, was
Yes.
case number 15, I have a note that it may have needed an interpreter, but am I incorrect on number 15?
You're correct, but I'm not sure which language we will need. So actually that raises an interesting point. So interpreter, would you just hold on for a moment? We may need you anyway.
Sure, I'll be standing by.
Okay, I'm going to break in a normal process here. I'm going to ask that we call number 15. I'm not sure which attorney is representing the city on this matter. That's number HA 2023-004102 4255 Malta Street. Mr. Nehia Tran. That's NGHIA Tran, TRAN. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Chairman Woodson. Kristen Patchell for the city.
Okay. Do you know which language this individual speaks?
No, Chairman Woodson, I tried to have communication with this appellant and I could not. I tried asking what language and I don't think he understood what I was saying. I know an interpreter is needed, but frankly, I'm not sure what language.
Okay. Has anyone responded to the call? That's number 15, and Mr. Tron. I assume it's a male, correct?
Yes, it was a male.
Okay, Mr. Tron, TRAN. Mr. Wayne, because you're here, we're going to ask you to fill in, and maybe the person will understand Mandarin. We aren't sure.
陈恩海先生或者是女士，陈恩海先生或者是女士，
4255 Malta Street.
4255 Martha Street. This interpreter, can you spell out the name of the street? Martha?
Okay, I will do that. It's NGHIA, first name, last name, TRAN.
Based on the spelling, my best guess is it's a Vietnamese.
Do you happen to speak Vietnamese?
No.
Okay.
A lot of Vietnamese understand Mandarin, but I tried to sound out the name and no one responded.
Okay. All right. So let's do this, Ms. Paschal. Given the nature of this, we've given our best guess. I don't want to rule on it until at the end of the hearing, in case the
That's
person
fine.
does appear. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Wayne. We appreciate your help, and that will be all we'll need from you today.
All right. Thank you for using our service. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You're
Interpreter
welcome.
disconnect.
Okay. Okay. Let's continue.
Thank you. Next is number 2023-4163, 1117 Wallace Street, Kang Gao, moot complied.
Okay.
Number 2023-4167, 2655 South Robinson Street, Sandra Allen Goins, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 2023-4138, 1309 East Susquehanna Avenue, Zoa Schisler. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a $150 fine.
Thank you.
Number 2023-4150, 6204 Reedland Street, Linda Claiborne, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 2023-4180, 2900 North Stillman Street, Jacqueline Rowland, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 33, HA 2023-4220, 15414 Endicott Street, Joel Acavino and Jonathan Sanders. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a 120-day stay of enforcement.
120 days stay. Okay. Thank you.
Number 35, 2023-4215, 5863 Christian Street, Leon Cleveland, moot complied.
Okay. Move comply.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Number 37, 2023-4211, 901 Leland Street, High Top Leland LLC, moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Number 39, 2023-4228, 1621 68th Avenue, Ariel Chai Properties. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a $150 fine.
Thank you.
Number 40, 2023-4239, 2101 South Opal Street, TM Hong, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 41, 2023-4246, 1303 Yerkes Street. I'm just going to spell it.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Home team 2101 comply, so can I go?
Yes. As I said earlier, if your property is listed as moot or moot complied, you can excuse yourselves. Yes, please.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Let's continue.
Number 41, 2023-4246, 1303 Yerkes Street. Appellant ANUG AGRAWAI. Care of MANJU AGRAWAL. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a $100 fine.
Okay, thank you.
Number 42, 2023-4323, 2024 East Ontario Street, Peter Dugan, city affirm, $150 fine.
Thank you.
Number
Is that
43.
is that an agreement, Mr. Kelly? I assume.
Yes, I'm sorry. Next is number 43, 2023-4468, 2643 Levick Street, Eugene Williams, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 44, 2023-4257, 5827 North 15th Street, Worsley Pusey, moot complied.
Who complied? Thank you.
Number 45, 2023-4319, 1258 South 28th Street, HYEYO, moot.
I did not hear 31.
I'm not sure who that is, so sir, whoever that is, please mute yourself. Thank you.
Number
Please continue.
Number 46, 2023-4364, 1220 Catherine Street, Donna DeStefano, doing business as Baratel. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a $150 fine.
Thank you.
Number 47, 2023-1655, 1316 South 51st Street, Frank Williams, moot.
Thank you.
Number 50, 2023-3841, 1215 West Somerset Street, Gregory Burrows, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 51, 2023-836, 1239 West Westmoreland Street, Dorian Noel. That's an agreement for a city affirm 60-day stay of enforcement.
60-day stay. Thank you.
Number 52, 2023-2822, 1115 Durfer Street, Josephine Barone, moot complied.
Thank you.
Number 54, 2023-2833, 413 North 38th Street. I'll just spell it ALIVELU, last name NAINALA. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a 90-day stay of enforcement.
90-day stay. Okay. Thank you.
Number 56, 2023-2944, 2007 Kinsey Street, Roman Ramberg, doing business as 4520 Torsdale LLC, moot complied.
Complied. Thank you.
And the last one that I have, number 57, 2023-2580, 716 Strail Street, William Kilrain. That's an agreement for a city affirm and a 1-year stay of enforcement.
1-year stay. Okay. Thank you.
That's all that I have. I do believe that some of my colleagues have other matters, though.
Okay, thank you very much. As per our procedure, anyone who has a preliminary matter, please use the raise hand sign and I will call you on in order. Ms. Carmody.
Good afternoon, Board. Caitlin Carmody on behalf of the city. I have 2 matters that would need continuance requests due to witness unavailability. However, the city does have standing objections for both of those matters, so I was going to leave it to the board whether we wanted to address those today or just continue and argue them.
Okay, well, which cases are you referencing?
So the first one would be case number 38, appeal ending 004222 for 5657 Montrose Street.
Okay, just 1 moment. Montrose, okay. And what's the issue there?
So this notice of violation was issued to the record owner who the appellant in their appeal form has indicated is deceased. The appellant is the daughter of the record owner. I tried to contact the appellant to see if they had any probate paperwork or new deed indicating that they were in fact the record owner. However, I've not heard back, and the city has been unable to find any information on the deed transfer. So the city wanted to argue a lack of standing.
Mr. Wade, would you call that one in, please?
This is case number 38, hearing appeal ending 4222, 5657 Montrose Street, Veronica Robinson.
Anyone present on that matter? Anyone present on 5657 Montrose Street?
Ms. Robinson listed 2117 Wayne Avenue in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Notice of this hearing was sent to 2117 Wayne Avenue in Scranton on August 20th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Carmody, no one's responding to the call. What is your pleasure?
Okay, seeing no one present, the city would request the city affirm for non-appearance in this matter.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do we have?
1:31 p.m.
1:31 p.m. We will poll the board on HA 2023-004-222-5657 Montrose Street, Veronica Robinson, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
Affirm for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. That matter is dismissed. Okay, Ms. Carmody, do you have one additional matter?
I do.
Sorry, interject. I did hear my address before. I just wanted to understand what mute complied means.
Sir, did you hear my instructions to everyone before?
I did, but I did not know.
So mute yourself. I don't have
property-
time to respond to your question. Please mute yourself. I'm in the middle of resolving a present matter. So please mute yourself. Okay, Ms. Carmody, please proceed.
The second matter was matter number 49, appeal ending 002052 for 6047 Walnut Street. Appellant is Derek Mason. This is the same issue where, for the city's research, it appears that the owner of record is deceased, and this appellant is a different party, albeit with the same last name. Tried to reach out to see if there was any information on probate information or estate, if there was any new deeds, but was unsuccessful. So the city wanted to raise a standing issue here as well.
Okay, let's do this again. Mr. Wade, would you read that matter in, please?
This is case 49, hearing appeal ending 2052, 6047 Walnut Street, Derek Mason.
Okay. Anyone present representing the interests of 6047 Walnut Street? 6047 Walnut, Mr. Derek Mason present. Okay, no one's responding. Ms. Carmody, what is your pleasure?
The city would request a city affirm for non-appearance.
Okay, Mr. Wade, would you mind confirming service?
This was, notice of this hearing was sent to 6243 Delancey Street on August 20th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do you have?
1:34 p.m.
1:34 p.m. Okay, thank you. We will poll the board on HA-2023-002-052 6047 Walnut Street. Derek Mason, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Does anyone else have any preliminary matters? Okay. The board itself has a few questions, so I'll just quickly run through those. Number 4 and number 5, both same address, 6233 Shelwyn Avenue. Prince Dennis is the appellant. Who's representing the city in this matter?
Good afternoon, Kristen Patchell for the city.
Ms. Patchell, we have anyone present? Is Prince Dennis present? Or anyone present representing the interests of 6233 Shelwyn Avenue? The first violation appeal is ending in 3440. The second violation appeal is ending in 3442. Anyone present? Okay, Mr. Wade, I need you to confirm service for those two.
This is the second listing for both of these matters. In both cases, notice of this hearing was sent to 6240 Harley Avenue on August 20th. for today's hearing.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
August 15th.
Okay. Would you give me a time, Mr. Pincus, for the number 4, the first matter?
1:35 PM.
1:35 p.m. Okay. We will vote on that matter, then come back to number 5. We will poll the board on HA-2023-003440-6233 Shelburne Avenue, Prince Dennis. City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you. Let's move on to the second matters, HA-2023-003442-6233 Shelburne Avenue, Prince Dennis. The time do we have, Mr. Pincus?
1:36 PM.
1:36 p.m. City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next matter is number 6. That's 1511 South Street. Matthew Levinson doing business as Dinner and Movie. That's 3600. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Leonard F. Reuter for the city of Philadelphia.
Good afternoon, Mr. Reuter. Is anyone present representing the appellant? Who's here representing the interests of 1511 South Street? Matthew Levinson doing business as Dinner and Movie. Anyone present? Mr. Reuter, no one is responding. What is your pleasure?
The city would ask that the appeal be denied for failing to appear.
Okay, Mr. Wade, would you confirm service, please?
Notice of this hearing was sent to 1511 South Street on 8/15/2024.
Thank you very much. Time, Mr. Pincus?
1:38 PM.
1:38 p.m. Okay, thank you. We will poll the board on HA-2023-0036001511 South Street. Matthew Levinson doing business as Dinner and Movie. City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. That brings us back then to number 15. 4102 4255 Malta Street. Mr. Tran, who's representing the city again?
Kristen Patchell for the city.
Okay, Ms. Pacho, I know that we have potential here with interpreter needed, but thus far, no one's responding to the call. What is your pleasure, please, ma'am?
I would ask for a city affirmed due to non-appearance.
Okay. Mr. Wade, would you confirm service?
Give me 1 second. Mr. Tran listed 4255 Malta Street on his appeal. Notice this hearing was sent out to that address on August 16th, 2024.
Okay, thank you. All right, what time do we have, Mr. Pincus?
1:39 PM.
1:39 p.m. We will poll the board on HA 2023-00410242. Sorry. 4255 Malta Street. Name of the appellant is NGHIA, last name Tran, Tran. City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Mr. Chair, before I vote, I just want to verify the time was 1:39 PM.
Yes.
Thank you. City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Let's move down to number 29. That's 4195, 1037 Folkrod Street, Trio Homes LLC. Who's representing the city in this matter?
I'm here, Tony Zhang. I'm the owner of the LLC.
Okay, sir, I need you to turn your video on. And who's representing the city?
There's no,
Wait a minute, sir. Wait a minute. I need to hear from the lawyer from the city who's going to be handling this matter. Okay. I'll need someone to speak up. Mr. Kelly, can you help me with this?
I'm looking at it now. Just give me one.
Sorry, this is Leonard Reuter. I didn't hear the address that you called.
Yes, it's 1037 Falk Rod Street.
Sure, thank you. Leonard F. Reuter for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the issue here before we get started is that Mr. Zhang, you the owner of the property?
yes,
This property is owned by LLC.
yes.
Are you aware that you're required to have a lawyer represent your interests before the board?
I was aware in the last minute with the last email.
Well, did you read the violation notice?
Yes,
And it has language that says you must have an attorney represent you if you are a corporate owner.
right. That's what I noticed last email.
Okay, that should have been when you got the violation notice itself. But anyway, do you have an attorney today?
No.
Mr. Rudder, you have a response or any concern about this?
Well, I believe this is Mr. Wade could confirm, I believe this is the first listing. So the city won't object to one continuance in order to obtain an attorney.
Okay. Mrs. Zhang, we need to continue this matter. You need to hire an attorney to represent you before the board. And so we will give you continuance to give you time to do that.
Okay.
Okay. And I would ask you to please pay close attention to the wording of all the violation notices. The language is quite clear.
Okay. Now
You got 30 days to appeal, and if you're a corporate owner, you must have an attorney.
Okay. So how much time do I have to get an attorney?
Well, a new date will be set by the administrative board. You can call in and find out, or check in with Mr. Rauder.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So please note for the record that HA 2023-004-195 1037 Falk Rod Street has been continued.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Zhang, you need to engage an attorney as soon as possible so you will be prepared for the next hearing, whatever date it is scheduled for.
Absolutely.
Okay, just want to make sure you understand. It's not how much time you have. You need to find an attorney now.
Right. I need to know the deadline so I can tell my attorney what time to show up.
You'll get a notice for a hearing, but you'll need to engage an attorney and prepare for a hearing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's see if we have any additional questions. Number 55. That's HA 2023-00076 237 South 48th Street. Philip Pulley. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city.
Good afternoon, Ms. Skiles. Is anyone present representing Philip Pulley? P-U-L-L-E-Y.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Yes, Mr. Chairman. Michael Yanoff here for the appellant.
Yes. Mr. Yanoff and Ms. Skiles, there is an issue of timeliness. And I don't know if Ms. Skiles, you had planned to raise this or not. But according to our records, the notice of violation was issued on October 8th, 2022. But the appeal was not submitted until December 14th, 2022.
I don't recall if this, I know this matter.
I believe this. Yeah, I think this issue has been resolved. I think everybody's agreed that the appeal was timely, and at the last hearing, Mr. Chairman, there was a discussion about whether this matter should be heard by the fire board as opposed to this particular board, and it was agreed that perhaps the filing of an appeal there would be an appropriate thing, which we've accomplished. We filed an appeal in August. We do not have a hearing date. We've had an inspection of the property by a representative of that board, and we are waiting for the scheduling of a hearing date. We've had a conversation with Ms. Skiles about that, and she's aware of that issue.
Okay, so in this instance, Ms. Skiles, there's two matters. One, it appears that we may have addressed the issue of timeliness previously, but in fact, we need a continuance today to wait on the fire board.
Yes, correct. And we, I believe this was just listed in August, so I don't believe the fire board had a chance to have this listed. So if we could get more of like a 90-day continuance so that this can proceed through the fire board, it should be able to be resolved.
Okay, so let the record reflect that this matter has been continued to allow the fire board to make a decision, and the timeliness matter has been resolved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let's move on. Number 58. That's ending for numbers 3665, 7348 Frankfurt Avenue. Ashraf Nasser. Who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Lee Bagelman for the city.
Afternoon, Mr. Bagelman. Anyone present representing Ashraf Nasser? 7348 Frankfurt Avenue. 7348 Frankfurt Avenue. Anyone present? Okay, Mr. Wade, would you confirm service, please?
Mr. Nasser was listed 1316 East 10th Street in Eddystone, Pennsylvania. As his address, notice of this hearing was sent on September 10th, 2024.
Okay, thank you very much. This, in fact, was an emergency appeal. It was requested and granted by the appellant, who is not present yet, or not present at all. What's the city's response?
I thought I heard someone.
Yeah, you did. That person should be muted. Okay, Mr. Bagelman, what's your
Just wanted to
pleasure?
confirm it was not the appellant. Well, if the appellant is not here, the city would request this be marked as a city affirmed for non-appearance.
Okay, what time do you have, Mr. Pincus?
1:47 p.m.
1:47 p.m. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All righty, thank you. We will now poll the board on HA 2024-003665-7348 Frankfurt Avenue, Ashraf Nassar, Nassar, city affirmed non-appearance.
Oh, sorry, sir. I believe he's the iPhone user. I helped him earlier. I'm sorry. I was trying to get him to unmute and identify himself. But he's the iPhone user.
I don't see an iPhone user on my screen. Okay, Mr.
Under a different name. That's the problem.
Yeah, I'm about to change his name back. He kept on coming in and out.
Mr. Chair, I do see an iPhone user.
Okay.
Gentleman with a red shirt and a blue coat.
I don't see him yet. Until he says something, it won't pop up on my screen.
You may need to go, there's two screens, at least on my computer.
Yeah, I have him on the third page.
There's three screens.
So it looks
All
like
right,
he's
sir,
walking.
you're unmuted, sir. Can you hear us?
And he's moving.
Hello?
Yes. What's
Sir.
your name, sir?
Yeah.
Hello?
Sir, what is your name?
My name is Ashraf Nassar.
Okay, Mr. Nassar, we've called your name several times. We were in the middle of voting on a decision. So what we will do is strike the previous record and start all over again. Sir, we will call your case in a few moments, sir. You need to be prepared and ready to have your case heard, but we do have a question for you. What is your relationship to this property on Frankfurt Avenue?
I rent this storage. I'm not owner. I rent this storage for the owner.
You rent it and use it as storage, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you have a lease with that person?
Yes.
And is it rented in your name personally or in a company name?
No, in personal name.
Repeat yourself, sir.
Yeah, I read, yeah.
Okay, is the business an LLC or a corporation?
No, it's not business.
Okay, I don't see him again unless something has happened to my screen here.
He's still there.
Okay. All right, what is the city's response to this? We have a standing question.
The document that was appealed is a notice of violation issued to the property owner of 7348 Frankfurt Avenue with the name of Brian Sy, S-Y. However, this violation notice is associated with a cease of the property at 7348 Frankfurt Avenue for a zoning violation. It was our understanding and confirmed by Mr. Nassar that he is the operator of the business entity that is that uses that space, the operator of the what's being used and what was subject to the cease operations order. And so for that reason, the city does not have a standing objection to Mr. Nassar's appeal today.
Okay. Now the issue then becomes, Mr. Nasser, an individual? Should he be assumed that he served as an individual or a corporate business owner? Does he need legal counsel?
The city is not, and again, not aware of whether he has a, whether this is an LLC that engages.
Okay, let's do this.
So,
Mr. Begum, are you available to go into a breakout room with Mr. Nassar and sort of get those issues resolved before we bring it back for hearing?
sure, happy to go into a breakout room.
Okay. All right. Mr. Wade, if you put the two of them in a breakout room, Mr. Nassar, you will see a notice on your phone to join a breakout room to discuss your case. Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I do believe Mr. Nassar did say that he leases it personally.
Okay. I didn't understand him. That's my fault then. Okay. Well, the two of them will talk and see how far they get.
Fine.
Okay. Thank you. Alrighty. That was all the questions that the board itself had. So let's go back and begin a hearing in earnest. We'll start. Mr. Wade, you choose. What's the first case do we hear?
I did, just want to call your attention to case number 28, hearing appeal ending 4179, 8042 through 44 Frankfurt Avenue.
Yes.
That was a late continuance request. I don't know if that was granted in an executive session or not.
Yes, we did grant it, but let's make sure the city and everyone else knows. 4179 at 8042-44 Frankfurt Avenue, 188 State LLC is the appellant who's representing the city.
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city for this matter.
Okay, there was a continuance request and we granted that in executive session.
Okay, no problem. This is I don't know if this is an LLC. I have attempted to be in contact with them. They haven't responded. They would just need an attorney for the next listing as well.
Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, all right, so wait, what do we have?
There was one request for a matter to go, case number 59. Hearing appeal ending 3239, 1916 Welsh Road, Mohammed Farour.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Jeffrey Cohen, representing the city of Philadelphia in this matter.
Okay. All right, who's present representing the interests of 1916 Welsh Road? 1916 Welsh Road, Mohammed Farour. Faroor.
The actual appellant in this matter is PAK, P-A-K Pizza Incorporated. Mohammed Farouk is the corporate officer or operator or principal of that incorporated entity. I believe Martin Pesner, an attorney, is present. At the very least, I saw Mr. Pesner on the Zoom earlier, and we can confirm that he's still on the Zoom. One moment.
Yeah, there he is.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Pesner. Mr. Pesner, please present yourself.
Yes. Good afternoon, members of the board.
Sir,
Martin Pesner. I'm here for PAK Pizza Incorporated.
Okay, PAK Pizza Incorporated. Sir, will you have any witnesses today?
I do not, members.
Okay, it's PAK Pizza Incorporated. Okay. Just for clarity's sake, what Mohammed Farouk, what is his role in this company?
He is one of the principals of the corporation.
Okay. All righty.
And he had filed the appeal on behalf of the corporation.
Okay. Does the city have any witnesses?
Yes. The city has two witnesses. We would start by calling Inspector Francine Griffin of the Department of L&I.
I just want to swear in. I'll swear both your witnesses in now, then you can get started.
Thank you.
Miss-
The other witness is Joseph Mellon of the Health Department.
Okay, Miss Francine Griffin, unmute your, if you're muted, please unmute, raise your right hand. And the other person, Mr. Cohen?
Joseph Mellon, manager at the Department of Public Health.
Mr. Mellon, if you're present, again, raise your right hand. Either, or both of you introduce yourselves so that the screen will activate.
Sure. Joseph Mellon, Department of Public Health, Environmental Health Program Manager.
Okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Okay, thank you. And the other witness?
Griffin.
Inspector.
There we go.
Okay.
Inspector Francine Griffin, Code Enforcement Inspector, Licenses and Inspection.
Okay, Ms. Griffin, do you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you very much. You can place your hand down. Mr. Cohen, you may proceed.
Thank you. I would actually like to share on my screen the exhibits packet that has been previously shared with the board and with appellant's counsel.
Yeah, proceed.
Just for the board and everyone's knowledge, the first two exhibits in the packet are an excerpt of the Philadelphia Code requiring a food license in order to operate a food selling establishment.
Sir, would you magnify that a bit so that we can sort of read as you scroll through?
So this is Exhibit C1, Section 6-301 of the Philadelphia Code.
Yeah, it needs to be bigger so we.
Subsection 2, no person, except for several exempt entities that don't apply here, shall conduct, maintain, or operate any food establishment selling food unless such person has obtained one of the licenses provided for in subsection 4 below. That's one of the types of licenses that's at issue here for Pack Pizza Incorporated, operating as Big Daddy Pizza at 1916 Welsh Road.
Okay.
And Exhibit C3 are excerpts from the health regulations governing food establishments from 2009. Specifically, section 46.1121. Basically, when you change an ownership of a food facility, you need to supply an application with plans and specifications to the health department. And whenever you submit plans or specifications to the health department, sorry, one moment. Here we go. Sub E, whenever plans and specifications are required, the department must conduct an inspection of the food establishment prior to the start of the food handling operation. So that's what we are dealing with in this instance. And with that, Inspector Griffin, you could please answer how long you've worked for L&I and in what capacity?
Since 1994.
And in what capacity have you worked for L&I?
I was a clerical and code enforcement.
In the course of your duties for L&I, have you reviewed the records for and inspected the property at 1916 Welsh Road, unit number 14?
Yes.
What is this document that I have on screen?
That is a document
Make
from
it
the Eclipse system, I guess, where you put in the legal name of the business now, which is Pack Pizza, to do a search for any licenses.
And have you run a search for any type of license for Pack Pizza?
Yes.
Does Pack Pizza have any business licenses or specifically food licenses?
No.
I'm scrolling down here to this page 9 in the packet, which is Exhibit C4. What is this search?
Mr. Cohen, I hate to interrupt you, but just like have a note for the Mr. Wade. Mr. Wade, I believe Mr. Petty got kicked out, so he's in the breakout room. Would you let him back in, please?
I don't see him right now, but once he comes back on.
I think he was in the breakout room trying to get in. So thank you. My apologies, Mr. Cohen. Please proceed.
That's all right. So the exhibit that I have on screen on page 9, Inspector, can you please tell me what type of search this is?
This looks like a search that was done in reference to any pizza businesses at that location.
Is this specifically 1916 Welsh Road?
Yes.
And it looks like over time, there have been a few pizza place licenses issued. Are any of them still active?
No.
Are there any active food licenses for any pizza place at 1916 Welsh Road?
No.
Scrolling down to this exhibit, is this the last active pizza place license for Welsh Road Unit 14?
Yes.
When did it expire?
In June of 2021. I'm sorry. No, wait a minute. April of 2022. I'm sorry.
Thank you. No, that's okay. And now we'll scroll down to page 11. Is this, well, what type of license is this on page 12?
That is a commercial activity license.
Does that authorize the holder of the license to engage in any type of food selling business?
No.
And was this issued to Pack Pizza?
Yes.
What's the issuance date of this license?
November of 2022.
So about 6-ish months after the expiration of the last active food license for Big Daddy Pizza.
Yes.
What is this document that's on page 13 in the packet?
That is the violation notice. That was actually issued back in March of 2023 by a previous inspector for the food.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. For the
I
food
just wanted to
license.
interject that there is highlighting in this exhibits packet. The highlighting is not in any of the original documents. It's been added after the fact. Sorry, continue, Inspector.
No, that's just the it's a violation notice that was issued back in March of 2023.
But this one was issued to Original Big Daddy Pizza LLC.
Yes.
Right? And
yes.
obviously that's not the appellant here.
No.
But was this notice actually sent to 1916 Welsh Road Unit 14?
Yes.
So presumably they should have noticed at that time.
Objection. Objection.
Never mind, I'll withdraw that question. Let's move down to page 16 in the packet. What is this document that I have on screen?
This is a violation notice that was issued by me in March of this year for Pack Pizza because they changed the name.
And what was the date of this notice?
March 19th, 2024.
And it was sent to, as you said, Pack Pizza at 1916 Welsh Road?
Yes.
Mr. Cohn?
Yes.
If I may, the violation notice and order that I'm reading is addressed to Besselton and Welsh Shopping Center, Inc. I don't see Pack Pizza listed as the responsible party. Am I misreading something?
If I can answer that by going to the actual appeal. One moment.
Well, I just want to make sure that when you reference a document that it's being accurately described.
Yes, which is why I've included exhibits C11 in the packet, starting on page 22. This is the actual appeal that was submitted to the board. And the notice that was submitted with this appeal was actually addressed to Busselton and Welsh Shopping Center, Inc. So that's explaining the reason that that specific document was included is because that notice of violation document was included in the specific appeal. So sorry, scrolling back up. So Inspector, after the notice of violation was issued, was there an appeal filed from only the notice of violation to this board?
Yes.
Or sorry, was there well, let me get the timeline right. So the notice of violation here was sent in March of this year, right?
Yes.
And then did L&I send out an intent to cease in August of this year?
Well, there was an initial notice that was sent on March 19th. And then there was a final notice that was issued in April.
But barring the final notice, was there also an intent to cease that was sent on August 5th?
Yes,
And is this the intent to cease that was sent on August 5th?
yes,
And just for the record, is this a second copy of the intent to cease addressed to Bustleton and Welsh Shopping Center?
yes.
All right, and just for the board's edification, a moment. On page 28 in the packet, it was the occupant notice of intent to cease that was attached to the appeal. The appeal that starts on page 22. So Inspector, when was the last time that you inspected Big Daddy Pizza at 1916 Welsh Road?
The last time it was inspected was April 29th. But the intent to cease was delivered on August the 5th.
Were you there on August the 5th to deliver the intent to cease?
Yes,
Was Pack Pizza and Big Daddy Pizza operating on August the 5th?
yes,
And to date, do they have a food license?
no,
And just for the record, did you take this photograph of Big Daddy Pizza on August 5th, 2024?
yes,
And is this a fair and accurate representation of the shop on August 5th?
yes.
Thank you very much, Inspector. I'd submit for cross-examination, and I can keep the exhibits on screen if council would like to use them.
Okay, do we have any cross-examination?
Just a couple questions.
Okay.
If you could go to city's exhibit number 16.
Page 16 or
exhibit 0016.
Okay.
That's the one. Ms. Griffin, does it say there that the responsible party is Bustleton and Welsh Shopping Center Incorporated?
Yes, it does.
And was the violation notice in order to correct sent to the responsible party?
It was sent to the responsible party and the occupant.
Okay. And okay, and if we could go to number 19. And it's highlighted that the owner is Bustleton and Welsh Shopping Center Incorporated.
Yes, that's the owner of the property.
And are you aware that Pack Pizza Incorporated had purchased an existing business that was formerly called Big Daddy's?
Yes,
And isn't it true that Big Daddy's did have an existing food license?
no, not at the time of my inspection.
I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Any
If I could
additional
do a little
witnesses?
redirect.
Yes.
Mr. Pesner asked you if the original Big Daddy Pizza had a previous operation at this location, but if there is a change of ownership, do they get to keep the old license?
No,
So what is a new owner or sort of an owner coming in a change of ownership situation? What do they need to do to get a license?
they need to apply for a new license. So
And
they
as
need to
part of that
sub-
application, do they need health department approval?
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on. You have any additional witnesses, Mr. Cohen?
Yes, the city calls Program Manager Joseph Mellon of the Department of Public Health.
Present.
Please
Good
proceed.
afternoon, Mr. Mellon.
Good afternoon.
How long have you worked for the Department of Public Health and in what capacity?
I'm with the department since 2007. I've been a sanitarian specialist, sanitarian supervisor, and now a program manager for environmental health services.
And as part of your duties for the health department, have you reviewed the records for 1916 Welsh Road, Unit 14, Big Daddy Pizza.
Yes.
I'm going to share on my screen again the same exhibits packet. Now we're going to go down to page 29 in the packet. Mr. Mellon, if you could please tell us what this document is that's on screen.
It is a food facility inspection report.
And I'll make it bigger because the text is fairly small. What's the date on this report?
It is 3/23/2023.
And is this something the health department keeps in the ordinary course of its business?
Yes.
Is this something that the health department employee would record this information that goes into this document as part of their normal duties?
Yes.
So scrolling down to the second page, or sorry, the third page, what was the result of this health inspection?
They were not in compliance at the time. And then they were cited for submitting an ownership change application to our department.
Cited for, by that, do you mean that they were told they needed to do so?
That's correct.
Now let's skip to the next page, page 32 in the packet. What is this document?
That's also a food facility inspection report.
And what's the date of this facility inspection report?
That is 8/6/2024.
So the day after the notice of intent to cease was issued.
It appears that way.
Is this a document that health keeps in the ordinary course of its business?
Yes.
And the information that goes into this document, is it entered by a health employee through the course of their duties?
Yes.
And if I can scroll down to page 2 in this document, what were some of the issues that were cited by the health sanitarian that did this inspection?
So we have a number of violations for risk factor violations, which if you scroll to the previous page, indicate that at the bottom there, risk factors are improper practices or procedures identified as the most prevalent contributing factors of foodborne illness. So when we have out of compliance, as indicated on the first page there, marked out, that would affect the overall compliance. Additionally, there were some evidences of vermin activity, and that would be also out of compliance for the inspection.
Just for the sake of the Board of L&I review and its members, when you say out, do you mean this notation here in red lettering next to a number and sort of a description of a type of violation?
That is correct.
And are those described in more detail on the second page here?
Yes.
Specifically, are there any significant issues that would prevent the health department from approving this this food operation for eligibility for a food license?
Yes.
What would those be?
The categories 6, 8, 14, 20, 21, 36. And then on the next page, there should be additional violations. Then in the regards to the plumbing issue with the 49 with the food preparation sink with indirect waste connection.
So because I think that number 49 has a lot of jargon in it, can you describe it succinctly to the board, trying to filter out the jargon?
Sure. So a food preparation sink is required when establishment is handling food that requires rinsing or thawing. That sink is required to have an indirect waste connection. That means there'll need to be a cut in the pipe. So if the wastewater drain were to back up, it would back up onto the floor rather than into the basin and potentially contaminating food contact surfaces or food.
So if I'm getting this correctly, if you had like a sink full of apples that you were washing and the plumbing backed up, with the air gap, the plumbing would sort of, sewage would flow underneath the sink and wouldn't necessarily touch the apples in it, but without the air gap, those apples would be contaminated?
Correct.
Thank you. What type of inspection was this on August 5th or August 6th?
They have it labeled as an inspection.
was it specifically a change of ownership inspection as indicated here underneath number 53?
That was evaluated at the time of the inspection.
It says down here, a license eligibility report was not issued at the time of this inspection. Can you tell us what that means?
Due to the violations noted on the report, that means that the establishment was not eligible to receive a license eligibility report in order to get a food license.
So is the LER or license eligibility report the document that you would take from the health department to L&I with your license application?
Yes.
Scrolling down to page 35 in the city's packet, what is this document?
It's also a food facility inspection report.
Is it also something that health keeps in the ordinary course of its business?
Yes.
And is the information that goes into this entered by a health employee through the course of their ordinary duties?
Yes.
So what's the date on this inspection?
9/13/2024.
Was this a follow-up to the previous August 6th inspection?
Yes.
And scrolling down now to the second page, what was the result of this inspection?
Also a non-compliant inspection.
And was a license eligibility report issued or not issued?
Not issued.
Were there any repeat issues that weren't fixed from the last month's inspection?
It appears that there were, the category 8 was a repeat issue. And category 49 was a repeat issue. There were
That
still,
same air gap issue?
yes. And it looks like there were additional risk factor violations as well. Category 6, 8, 13, 14, and 49.
Thank you. Can you very briefly explain why it's so important that a food establishment pass an inspection before they can go on to apply for their food license?
Well, they would need to be in compliance. These are the science and the regulation and laws set forth to determine healthy and sanitary standards and practices that would ensure that a place is in compliance in order to serve food in a manner that would reduce the amount of risk for significant foodborne diseases.
Thank you very much, Manager Mellon.
Thank you.
I present Mr. Mellon for cross-examination, and if the exhibits are needed, I can keep them on screen.
Mr. Pessner, any cross?
Just very brief. Could you please go to the final exhibit that was September 13th, 2024 inspection report? Mr. Mellon, are you aware that on September 21st, 2024, a re-inspection was requested?
I am not.
Okay. Are you aware that there was an email sent on September 21st, 2024 to Anisha Long and Mr. Salami at the Philadelphia.gov emails? Is that part of your department?
That is part of the department.
The food inspection department?
Well, Office of Food Protection, that'd be the sanitarian supervisor and the sanitarian specialist for Health District 10.
Okay.
I was not aware of that email though, as I'm not copied on it.
Okay. If I could just share for a minute.
Yes.
Attached to the email, Mr. Mellon, was the sink of which, again, that applies to the violation of which you wanted a separate sink. Is that correct?
Well, the food preparation sink is required with the air gap.
Okay.
If they are washing, rinsing, and produce or food items or thawing.
Right. And I'm going to just show you a second picture.
Okay.
Is if where I have my pointer, is that the air gap that you're
Mr.
You're not
Pessner,
sharing
you're not sharing your screen. We don't see what
Oh,
you're referencing.
I apologize.
Well, actually, if I can Object to foundation, unless Mr. Pesner has some witness here that can give foundation for a photograph to show it is the sink in question. It's in 1916 Welsh Road, Unit 14. If there's no foundation, then there's
Okay.
a way to be sure that that is a photograph of the authentic sink in question.
Mr. Pesner, I'm going to sustain that objection.
Okay, well, Your Honor, as I said, there was an email that was sent with these photographs.
Okay, and you asked Mr.
requesting
Mellon, and he responded that he wasn't aware of it. So when you put your case on in chief, you can of course, you can present information that you think is appropriate.
Okay.
And you, of course, have to get foundation for photos and etc.
Understood.
Okay. Anything else?
I have nothing else.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty, Mr. Cohen, any additional witnesses?
Nothing further from the city. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, the city would move its exhibits packet into evidence.
So moved. Okay, thank you. Mr. Pesner, your opportunity.
Members of the board, there was confusion on my client's end. He bought an existing business, and at the time that he bought the existing business.
Now, Mr. Pesner, what I'd like you to do, so that you will have witnesses, so I'd like them to testify, not you, and of course you can give closing argument.
I do not have any. My client was not available today.
Okay, so what we will do then, if there is no additional witnesses by the appellant, you will be invited, Mr. Pesner, to give closing arguments. Of course, then Mr. Cohen will close after that. Thank you. So, Mr. Pesner, please proceed.
Yes. Again, there was confusion on my client's end. He bought an existing business. At the time he bought the business, there was a food license in effect. There has been a good faith effort to try to correct these violations. The company has requested re-inspections, and they've addressed the latest inspection report that was dated September 13th, 2024. And again, I understand the email was not addressed to Mr. Mellon, but it was addressed to his department, of which they did request a re-inspection, and they believe they've addressed all the items on that inspection report dated September 13th.
Thank you. Mr. Cohen?
Thank you, members of the board. I'll try and keep this brief. There is no right in the city to operate a food establishment unless that establishment has a food license, and there is no food license here. And the city has actually gone a step further and shown through the testimony of Mr. Mellon and the health department inspection reports why there is no food license. Because out of 3 inspections that have been conducted of Pack Pizza operating at this location, each of those inspections has failed. And in this case, the most recent inspection on September 13th showed repeated issues, not just the sink that admittedly was, as of over a week ago, non-compliant. There were issues with hand washing stations, there were issues with vermin, and there were other issues that are noted in these inspection reports that led them to be found not in satisfactory compliance. The reason why the health department has these regulations in the first place, the reason why a change of ownership inspection needs to occur before food service starts, is specifically to protect the public and to protect them from foodborne illnesses. That's why the city is seeking, in this case, a city affirmed on the notice of intent to cease, so that we can implement the cease for lack of a food license, we can protect the public from foodborne illnesses, and we can give Pack Pizza an opportunity to get their act together without them still operating in unsatisfactory compliance with the health code. So the city respectfully requests a city affirmed decision.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now poll the board regarding HA-2024-003-239 1916 Welsh Road. The appellant, according to my sheet, is Mohammed Farouk, but it's basically Pack Pizza / Big Daddy Pizza. City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Mr. Tennant. Mr. Tennant. Well, let's continue to vote.
City affirmed.
City affirm.
Thank you very much. Alrighty. There's unanimous vote, city affirm. Of course, the appellate has the right to appeal the decision of the board, Mr. Pedzer. So of course, that would be a choice for you and your client to resolve. Thank you very much for your participation. All the witnesses are excused.
Thank you very much, members.
A lot of stuff that was in there.
Thank you. May I
Okay.
be excused?
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Wade, what do we move to next?
Mr. Reuter has an agreement to put on the record.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. May it please the board, Leonard F. Reuter for the city of Philadelphia. Regarding number 31 on your list, HA 2023-004192, 546 West Duncannon Avenue. The appellant is Victor Gill. He is present. Mr. Gill and I went into a breakout room and reached an agreement to have the matter marked city affirmed with a 120-day stay of enforcement. He does have a permit application that's currently under review. There's probably going to be a couple more things that will need to be submitted. So we'll give him 120 days.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Gill present?
Yes, I'm present.
Okay, Mr. Gill, is that in fact your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. So noted.
Thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
You too.
Okay.
I believe Mr. Begelman is out of the breakout room. I don't know if he had something to put on the record.
Okay, Mr. Begelman?
Yes, I spoke with Mr. Nasser in the breakout room regarding the standing issue that the board raised. The city was under the impression that the property located at 7348 Frankfurt has a restaurant space that was subject to a prior cease operations order. The city believed that Mr. Nasser was the operator of that restaurant space. He's actually not connected to the restaurant. There's a separate space in the back of the property that he rents from the property owner that is separate from the restaurant. However, that separate part of the space was subject to a cease operations order, although that notice of violation that Mr. Nasser appealed was directed to the property owner. Because that physical space is under a cease operations order and Mr. Nasser operates that space and has an interest in that space, the city still does not have an objection to standing or him proceeding with the appeal today.
Okay, thank you. So now will the violation notice, is it segregated to be that rear space alone or the whole property?
The violation notice does not specify the rear space. It is just to 7348 Frankfurt. I do not believe that there is a I don't know if the city has recognized that space as a separate parcel or a separate space from that restaurant. So the whole property remains under cease on multiple cease operations orders.
Okay, we will hear it in regular order then. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, Mr. Wade.
It brings us to case number 7. Hearing appeal ending 3784 4048 Higby Street. Ahmad Heilik.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Caitlin Carmody on behalf of the city.
Afternoon, Ms. Carmody. Anyone present representing 4048 Higby Street? Ahmad Heilik. Ahmad Heilik. Ahmad.
This case was previously scheduled for July 30th. It was continued for better service. Mr. Heilik listed 4433 Sampson Street as his mailing address. Notice this hearing was sent to 4433 Sampson on August 15th.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Carmody, no one's responded. What is your pleasure?
The city would request a city affirm for non-appearance in this matter.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time do we have?
2:29 p.m.
2:29 p.m. Okay. Alrighty. With regard then to HA-2023-003784 4048 Higby Street, Ahmad Heilik, city affirmed non-appearance.
Right.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirm for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Wade.
Thank you.
This is case number 24, hearing appeal ending 4151 105 West Clearfield Street. Minerva Quesada.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Minerva.
Good afternoon, Amy Skiles on behalf of the city.
Oh, good afternoon, Ms. Skiles. Anyone here representing 105 West Clearfield, Minerva Quesada? 105 West Clearfield. Anyone present? That name is spelled Quesada.
I do see Minerva Marte on the call.
Ms. Marte, are you related, associated with this property on West Clearfield?
Sí,
Okay, ma'am, what is your relationship to this property?
hello. Spanish, no English.
Okay,
She needs a Spanish interpreter.
okay, okay, let's do this because her name is not the name identified. She may be Minerva Quesada, but it isn't clear. So we will need to continue this matter. Mr. Wade, do we have a Spanish interpreter present?
Not present, no.
Okay, we're going to have to continue this matter. Ms. Marte, we're going to continue. We can't hear today because you need a Spanish interpreter. So it'll be continued.
Mr. Chairman, there is someone in the room with her who could at least, I believe, speaks English and who could explain to her what you've just said, because I'm pretty sure she didn't understand.
Okay. Ms. Marte, is someone in the room next to you who could explain to you what I just said?
Yeah, I'm her son.
Okay. Did you let her know that we'll need to get a Spanish interpreter and we'll continue the case until we can get an interpreter and reschedule it, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Va a tener que continuarla porque no.
Okay, let's move on. Mr. Wade, what do we need?
Just 1 second. Okay, case 25, hearing appeal ending 4154, 4437 Silverwood Street, Harry Fagel.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Kristen Patchell for the city.
Afternoon, Ms. Patchell. Harry Fagel Jr. Harry Fagel Jr.
Present.
Okay, I don't see the image. Harry Fagel Jr.
Yes, I'm here. Hello?
Okay, well, for some reason, the image isn't on my screen.
Wait a minute. What do we do?
I see him.
Mr. Chair, he's up on my screen. Maybe you need to flip to the second screen.
Okay, normally if the individual says
I
something,
understand.
it'll change.
I had
Okay,
him on the first screen.
How do I get center H?
Mr. Siegel, we can hear you. Could you just wait a moment?
Hear me? Can you see me?
Yes, some of us can. The chairman is trying to locate you on his screen.
yeah, am I the only one who cannot see him? I guess I am.
Oh, no, Mr. Chairman, I don't see him either.
Do y'all see him on the first page, the first screen? That's what I have. No.
Oh, I see him now. Thank you.
Okay. Eventually, I guess I will see him. Okay.
Right.
Oh, yes, now I see him. Yeah, yep, no problem. Okay. All right. My apologies, Mr. Fagel, for that confusion.
Feigl.
Feigl, okay, good. Now, are you Harry Feigl Jr.?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Ready? Ms. Wade, would you read it in, please, again?
Case 25, hearing appeal ending 4154, 4437 Silverwood Street, Harry Feigl.
Junior.
Junior.
Okay, thank you. Ready? Ms. Pasha, do you have any witnesses?
I do. The city would call Inspector Hollis Cribell.
Okay, Inspector. Unmute yourself, please. Mr. Wade, he may need some help unmuting.
Stand in the front.
Okay, there he is. Mr. Gravel, raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Feigl, I'd also need to swear you in if you would. Raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. Mr. Feigl, before we proceed, what is your relationship to 4437 Silverwood?
I own the property.
Is it in your name alone or anyone else on the deed?
My name and my wife.
You and your wife's name part of the deed?
Yes. Do you need her?
No, not necessarily. Your husband and wife. Okay, thank you. Ms. Paschal, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chairman Woodson. Good afternoon, Inspector Hollis.
Good afternoon.
Where are you presently employed
At the City of Philadelphia,
and what department?
licensing and inspections.
And what is your title?
I'm a code enforcement inspector.
Okay. As part of your role as a code inspector, what are your roles and responsibilities?
To go out and observe violations on properties, particularly vacant properties.
And as part of your duties with the department, did you become familiar with a property on the 4400 block of Silverwood Street?
Yes,
And is that specifically 4437 Silverwood Street?
yes, it is.
Okay. In September of 2023, did you issue a notice of violation for this property?
Hold that up.
And permission to share my screen at this point, Chairman Woodson?
Yes.
Yeah, that might be this.
And Inspector, did you issue a notice of violation?
Yes,
And would you recognize it if you saw it?
yes, I will.
Okay. Displaying that now. Okay. Do you see that, Inspector?
No.
Inspector, do you see that
Yes,
on the screen?
yes, I see it.
All right. And who was this violation notice issued to?
To Harry and Deborah Feig or Feigl,
Okay. And what was the date of the notice?
9/21/23,
And what was the property in violation?
4437 Silverwood Street.
Okay. Now scrolling down to the body of the violation, what was the first violation that you issued for this property?
To maintain maintain the vacant property.
Okay. And is that under PM 15301?
That is correct.
And what was the second violation that you issued for this property?
They needed to install the front steps.
Okay. And was that PM 15-30410?
Correct.
And what was the third violation that you listed on this notice?
Needed to install handrails.
And what section of the code was that?
PM 15-304.12.
Okay. Moving on to the fourth violation. What section of the code was that?
They needed to install operable windows and remove the boards. That was on the PM 15-304.19V as in Victor.
Thank you. Continuing down to the fifth violation, which section of the code was this, Inspector?
They needed to place address identification on front of the property. That was PM 15-304.3.
Okay. Continuing down to the next, what was the next violation you cited?
The following was the front wall facing needed to be properly waterproofed. That falls under PM 15-304.6.
And is that weatherproof, Inspector?
If needed to be, yes.
Okay. And then the next violation, what section of the code was this?
Again, to maintain the vacant property, and that falls under PM 15-901.1.
And then lastly, Inspector, what was the last violation that you issued?
Needed to obtain a vacant structure license, and that falls under 9-3905.
Okay. And at the time when you issued this violation in September of 2023, was there a vacant property license for this property?
No, I think one was there's one acquired now.
Okay, but at the time there was not one. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And Inspector, when you went out in September, let me get the exact date, just for the record. When you went out on September 21st, 2023, did you document photographs or did you take photographs documenting these violations?
Yes.
And would you recognize them if you saw them?
Yes.
Scrolling down to what has been pre-marked as City Exhibit 2. Do you recognize what's on screen there, Inspector?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm gonna just scroll down a little bit further. Do you see the timestamp that's on the left-hand corner?
Yes.
Or side rather. And are these photographs from September 19th, 2023?
That is correct.
Okay. Now, Inspector, can you walk us through what it is that we're looking at and what violations are present in this photograph?
Well, you're looking at several violations here. Namely, if we start from the bottom, you look at the steps. Those are absolutely incorrect. That they are not safe at all. It's not.
Well, let me stop you right there, Inspector. Are there even what would qualify as steps present in front of this property?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So in addition to the steps, is there also a missing handrail?
There is a missing handrail, yes.
And is there a missing number identification?
Yes.
What else is a problem under the Philadelphia Code with respect to this photograph?
The wall facing, there is no wall facing that would prevent, that will at least demonstrate waterproofing.
Okay. And when you say wall facing, what exactly is it that you mean by that?
Well, what covers the actual structure of the wall to prevent water or any type of moisture from going into the property. So
Okay,
that's
and
just bare brick and mortar right there, and that doesn't have any waterproofing on it.
Thank you. And then I want to draw your attention to the window. What is wrong under the code with this window?
It's boarded and not operable, so it needs to be an operable window.
Okay, and by an operable window, would the board need to be removed?
The board would need to be removed. If it stays on, it has to be on where it is on the inside, but there needs to be a window on the outside, like as such, the ones up top that are able to open and close, lock and unlock correctly.
Okay, and thank you, Inspector. I'm going to continue to the next photograph. What, if anything, in this photograph is wrong under the code?
Again, we have the wall facing issue with no waterproofing. And then again, the window that's missing. Again, the boards they can remain on the inside, but only if there are windows that's operable on the outside, which doesn't appear on this photograph.
Thank you. I am continuing down to an additional photograph. Does this show the same thing that we just looked at in the previous photographs? Is there anything of note with this particular page?
That is correct. This is primarily the same, and there is, primarily the same.
Okay. Now I want to draw your attention to what has been pre-marked as City Exhibit 3. Is this a notice of violation that was issued again to Mr. Feigl?
That is correct.
Okay. And what was the date of the notice?
4/17/2024.
Okay. So this is roughly about 7 months after the initial notice. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And without going into detail with the code numbers, what were the violations again, the conditions that were cited?
They are primarily the same as the first. Maintain the vacant property, install the front steps, install handrails, install operable windows and remove the boards. Place address identification in front of the property. The front wall facing needed to be waterproofed, and maintain the vacant property.
Okay, thank you. And then lastly, did Mr. Feigl need to obtain a vacant structure license?
Needed to obtain a vacant structure license.
Okay. And continuing on to scrolling down to what has been pre-marked as City Exhibit C4. Did you take additional photographs in April of 2024?
Yes.
Okay.
4/16/24. Mhm.
And is that what we're looking at on the screen?
That is correct.
Okay. Absent the Sharpie numbers on the door, did anything change with respect to the conditions at the property?
No.
Okay. And scrolling down to the next photograph, is that just another angle of the same view that we were looking at?
Nothing has changed.
Okay. And why is it, Inspector, that these conditions are a problem underneath the Philadelphia Code?
Well, there are safety concerns and there are protection of the property. If this remains the way it is, then the water keeps seeping in, moisture keeps seeping in. You have different things that can occur. You have mold that can start taking place. It's safety concerns of various levels.
And if this property ends up being impacted by water damage, could that also affect the property that's to the right of this property?
That is correct.
And would you, in your opinion as a code inspector, is this pile of stones in front of the house a safety problem?
Absolutely is.
And why is that?
It is not attached to the property. It's piled on top of, it's just improper. It's stacked on top of each other. You have kids, anyone can just get themselves hurt on that. That is not acceptable in any type of way. Safety or otherwise.
Thank you, Inspector. Continuing down to what has been pre-marked City Exhibit 5. Do you recognize what is on screen?
Yes.
And is this another photograph of this property?
Yes.
And court's indulgence. Was this photograph recently taken in September of 2024?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall the last time that you went out to inspect this property?
I would have to see the exhibits.
Was it recently, if you know, Inspector?
It was recently, yes.
Okay.
It was within 7 days before the hearing date.
Okay. And the hearing date being today, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And lastly, Inspector, had any conditions changed
No.
in this photograph? Okay.
No, they haven't.
And are there any issued permits for this property?
They have acquired a vacant structure license.
But is that it?
And no permits.
Okay. And is it your opinion that these violations were properly issued?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. I have nothing further I offer for cross.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fiegel, do you have any cross-examination questions for the inspector?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I assume you have my packet of dockets I emailed to you on Thursday, 9/19/24 as requested.
Yes, but what do you have any questions, cross-examination questions
Okay.
for the inspector?
Yes, Mr. Chevelle, are there cement block buildings in the city?
Okay,
Pardon
Mr.
me?
Fiegel, I'm going to ask you to be very narrow your questions down to the
Okay,
property in question,
right.
okay?
Okay, cement block, okay, is considered a structural material, does not require stucco in it or anything else. True or false?
What is the question?
Cement block. If I have a cement block building, do I have to have it covered with anything?
It needs to be waterproofed.
Well, the cement block itself, it is waterproof. Okay, Mr. Chevelle, Do people have
It's Cravel.
Cravel?
Cravel.
My apology.
Yes, sir.
Brick walls are a common material. Brick walls are a common material to build things in Philadelphia. They do not get covered waterproofing. They're just plain brick walls. True or false?
If you look above the windows of the front of that property, all those are openings
Just one moment,
that
Mr.
allow-
Cravel. Just one moment. We have someone else who should be muted. Yeah, thank you. No, my apologies, sir. Please continue.
May I, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Feigl, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Mr. Feigl, the purpose of this cross-examination is to ask Mr. Cravel questions regarding statements and testimony he gave. So
Okay.
you should be directing your questions to statements he made and not yourself testifying. If you want to speak about conditions that you see or that you know about, that'll be your opportunity after the inspector's testimony has been completed. Okay?
Okay. All right. As far as maintaining the vacant property, you said the land to be clean and safe. I live 50 yards down the street. I walk by the house every day. I make sure there are no weeds or trash there.
Objection.
Yeah, Mr. Feigl, it has to be in the form of a question, okay?
All right.
Wait a moment, Mr. Cravel, I think there's background noise from your office that makes it hard.
Okay, gentlemen, you're being heard because I'm also, all right. Okay,
Right.
thank you.
Mr. Cravel, did you ever see trash piled in front of that property?
No, I haven't seen trash in front of the property.
All right. Did you ever see weed overgrowth in front of that property?
Yes, there's a little bit of weed there.
Well, on occasion, weeds can grow in a week. Is that true? Weeds grow quickly sometimes, because I pull them out all the time and I spray with weed killer. Okay, the numbers on the doors, they were done immediately when I got the first violation in October 2023. And I immediately filed an
But
appeal.
Mr. Feigl, again, you have to ask a question, okay?
Okay.
When he's finished, when the city is finished, you can then present your case and put all that on the
All
record.
right. My apologies. I'm not used to the procedures. Okay. Did you notice that the numbers were on the doors immediately in October 2023?
No.
Well, I put them there then. Okay. Mr. Cravel, the pile of stones there, they are the caps for the steps when the new steps.
Mr. Feigl, again, you have to ask a question or else I'm going to cut it off, okay?
All right.
And you can just present your case.
Do you understand what the pile of stones in front of the property are for?
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Yes, sustain. Don't answer that.
All right. I'm trying to figure these things here. And the vacant, I had the incorrect, Mr. Cravel, did I have a license, although it wasn't the vacant property license, for that property when you first inspected it?
No.
Oh, actually, I had a rental license.
But Mr. Feigl, you can present your case in a moment. So why don't we do this? Let's end this cross-examination.
Okay.
And see if the city has any additional witnesses. Do you have
City
any?
is- No additional witnesses. I would mark and move my exhibits into evidence and rest.
So moved. Okay, now, Mr. Feigl, this is your opportunity to present your case. Okay?
Okay, I assume you have my packet that I emailed to you.
Yeah,
Everybody see
the
it?
law department sharp has the packet. Now, what you will need to do, if you want to have documents reviewed and discussed during your presentation, you'll need to share your screen. Unless the city already has done that, and you can ask them to put their document up.
How do we do that, Itch? How do I do that?
Oh, Mr. Feigl, I can't teach you how to use the
All right,
computer.
all right.
Do you have, and you can't do that. That's not going to help us because we can't read it that way.
Well, you have the documents, so you can see them.
if you want to present them, you can reference them, but we would ask that you put them on the screen. Ms. Paschal, I'm going to ask you to help out a little bit here. If
That's
any of the
fine, Chair.
documents that he's presenting,
Mr.
if you have
Chair?
them, yes.
Can I ask for a brief, while on this particular issue, a brief executive session, if I may,
Okay.
with respect to just this particular issue?
Okay. What is the time? Is it? We have 2:55. Okay, we're going to go off the record for 5 minutes. We'll be back at 3 o'clock. As soon as I get a quorum, as soon as I have a quorum of board members, we will begin. Just waiting for everyone to return. Okay, I believe we do have a quorum now. So we're back on the record with regard to this matter at 4437 Silverwood Street. Now, we have a solution potentially that will be helpful as we move through this with Mr. Feigl. I see there's a document on the screen now. Whose document is that?
Mine.
So you able to share your screen, Mr. Feigl?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, alrighty. So Ms. Paschal, if you're ready, we can go back on the screen and, go back on the record and have Mr. Feigl continue his presentation. Mr.
Yes,
Feigl?
Okay, before I start my documents, I started this project several years ago.
Sir, what project are you referencing? What project are you talking about?
4437 Silverwood Street. These buildings, 4437 Silverwood Street and 4439 Silverwood Street, are connected together. They had common floorboards. I bought these buildings. They're an eyesore. I took off the old stucco in the front. I had previous permits. The inside of the buildings are gutted. There is no first floor right now because the joists were set in dirt. They're all rotten. I took them out. Okay. And then I took down the previous additions on the back of the house.
Okay, Mr. Feigl, I'm going to stop you because we need you to focus in on the violations and your appeal. Okay.
All right.
So
both properties we've renovated together, the front steps in review with the streets department. Only I went down there. I cannot do it. Only the design professional can do this. I cannot proceed with the project without both permits obtained. Right. Yesterday, I got notice, my architect, they got approval from the streets department to put the front steps on. Okay. However, there's a glitch. There's both.
Okay, Mr. Feigl, again, go to the issue of the violation notices. That's what you've appealed.
But the violations, yes. Okay, they're not there. But
so your design, etc., is irrelevant. That isn't part of the violation.
Well, I can't put the window in because the hole is there for a reason. I have to take equipment in there to excavate for a wall space.
Let me ask you this question. Do you have currently active building permits?
I am working on them. They're in
No. That's a yes or no. Do you have currently active
No, I don't have the active permits right now.
Okay. All right.
Can I continue through my stuff here?
No, not necessarily. What I need... Wait. I need Mr. Feigl to direct his information to the violations that he's responding to. And someone else had to say something. I apologize for cutting you off.
Yes, I apologize, Chairman Woodson. I would object to the introduction of these plans. One, there's no one to authenticate them, but two, they're also not relevant to the inquiry at question. All we're here today is to see if the notice of on the violations was properly issued. So this does not address that.
Okay. All right, Mr. Feigl, please continue.
It's not moving now, H. Just a minute. All right, this is a whole building renovation, which includes both buildings. I can't do one without the other. All right, the plans, the crawl space I have to put in, why the holes in the front of the building to bring the equipment in. Okay, this is when I went to the streets department, my design professional, to get the steps. The steps are in review, but I got an email yesterday. They have been approved These are plans for the steps that go in the front of the building there, and see they're quite massive. And those stones in the front will be used for the treads on the steps. They'll have beginning shore. Right? Now, these are the two buildings. My hang up,
Objection
Okay, what is the objection?
to relevance.
Okay, Mr. Feigo, what is this?
it is relevant.
How, explain how it's relevant before I move, rule on
Right.
the objection.
All right, you want me to put a window in the front? I
Oh,
can't.
no. What the requirement says that if you have window openings, they have to be operable windows. So if you're going to change it by design, you have to have permits, etc., proving that you're under construction. It's a whole another set of rules once you go under construction.
I'm in the process of doing that. But if you notice
Okay,
right
but
here with the
But you
the
haven't done
yellow
it
is,
yet, right? You haven't done it yet.
It's holding up the permits because although these buildings were built in the 1800s, apparently the examiner that examines the plans said that part of my property is built on the property of the house next door, which is a filler house.
Okay.
So now
So the wait a minute before you finish. The objection raised by the city has been sustained. So I'm going to ask you to move on, okay? Because I need you to get to the part that's relevant to the violations. What if the violations existed, and if they do exist, what do you plan to do about it? Or you can argue that they don't exist if the violations don't exist.
As stated, they exist. However,
Okay.
but I would be working backwards to correct them right now because I have to get now a surveyor to survey the properties of 4439 and 4441 before I can then get, and I had to have a zoning variance to change the lot lines to get the permits because the roof covers both buildings. I'm taking the entire roof off. I'm rebuilding additions on the back. When I'm done that, I will put in these new steps in the front. I don't have all the windows you want.
Okay.
But if I put the window in now, then I'm blocking my egress to go in and do the excavation to make the crawl space.
Okay.
And I tried to contact Inspector Chevelle by phone and text many times. He first gave me the violation. I said, "Can we go over and meet? I want to show you exactly what I'm doing, and we could have nipped this whole thing in the bud." I never heard anything from him.
Okay.
He didn't respond to me at all, except recently he says, "Well, when you get the permits."
Objection.
I've been
So noted. Okay. You put on the record that you didn't get a response from Mr. Cravell, correct?
No.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us?
Yeah, I'm diligently working on getting the permits so I can finish the building.
Okay.
And then in
Right.
here, wait a minute.
Mr. Feigl, as you proceed, I have one question. Is it true you've owned this property since 1994?
Yes. And I
Thank you.
need,
That's all I asked, that
Yes.
you've owned it since 1994.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
This is
And-
2024. It's 10 years later, correct?
It is correct because I
That's
have
all
other-
you have. That's
Yes.
all I wanted. Yes, thank
All
you.
right.
I'm going to
And my
Going to Judy's.
neighbors, I know both my neighbors on both sides.
Objection,
working
relevance.
All right.
Mr. Feigl, that's actually we're going to ask you to conclude your presentation, please.
All right, well, I'm saying I'd like to have these violations voided because I'm working on renovating the entire property.
Okay. All righty. Thank you. Ms. Pastor, do you have any cross-examination?
I don't have any cross-examination.
Okay, I do have a few questions, but before I do that, any board member have any questions for Mr. Feigl? And please
Just one
unmute.
quick one. Mr.
Yes.
Chair. Mr. Feigl, are the
Yes.
steps repaired?
Or the what?
Steps repaired.
No, I didn't put the new steps in yet because I have to do the building. The
Are,
steps are
are,
right.
no, my one question is, are the steps repaired?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
I have a question for Mr. Feigl. Mr. Feigl, when you received the first violation notice concerning the vacant property in September of last year,
Yes.
what steps did you take to expedite the permits for the work on the property?
I went down with my previous drawings that I had on their last permits. And Illinois said, your drawings are no good, you need an architect stamp. So I go to an architect, he goes, well, I can't stamp them. I have to re-drill the entire drawings. So it took time for the architect to do that. In the meanwhile, I had to take my OSHA 30 course over again to get my contractor's license so I can complete the project.
So,
Also,
did you submit stamped architectural drawings to the Department of Licenses and Inspections?
yes, they're there right now under these two permit numbers. For 4437, it's RP-2024-005215. And for 4439, it's ZP-2024-00522. But the problem is I need the permits for both of them because the roof has to come off of them. They had common floorboards in there.
Right.
But
so you've submitted the new drawings. On what date were the new drawings submitted?
Back in June of this year, or maybe June, May.
So almost a year. It took almost a year.
Well, I had to get the drawings for I had to find an architect to get the drawings. Right now, I'm trying to get a surveyor, and ultimately they're backed up 6 weeks to 2 months.
Okay. So my final question then is, given that you don't have any permits for the work that you intend to do you agree that your properties are currently vacant?
Yes, they are vacant.
Thank you, Mr. Feigl.
Okay, Mr. Feigl, are you a builder by trade?
I'm a retired school teacher. When I did this before, I was still teaching school. I was doing it in my spare time. The permit ran out.
Okay.
Now, and I refinanced my house to pay for this.
Okay, do you own other investment properties in the city of Philadelphia?
Yes, I do.
Have you gone through the renovation process of these other properties, like gut renovations?
Yes, I have.
And did you do the work yourself, or you hired a contractor to do it?
I did the work myself I did the work myself.
Did you obtain the appropriate permits for the work that you did?
Yes, I did. I'll give you the addresses of the properties.
No, we don't need the address. No, we don't need the address. I just want to understand your level of understanding of the process. So you understand how this works. Okay.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for Mr. Feigl.
Okay, two additional, Mr. Tennant, then Mr. Pincus.
Mr. Feigl, could you repeat those permit numbers for me, please, sir?
That I'm currently under, it's just the permits I put in for. It's RP-2024-005215, and the other one is ZP-2024-005522.
So one is a zoning permit that you applied for this year in 2024, and
No,
the
they're
other
not,
is
no, they're not zoning for building permits.
you said ZP.
Oh, that's zoning. Oh, that's for 4439.
Okay. The other one is an RP, which is a residential permit, number 2024, which means it was applied for this year, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Mr. Pincus?
Yes, I believe earlier you confirmed that you and your wife have owned this property since 1994. And I'm just looking, I notice on the city's records that there have been violation notices issued against this property beginning in June of 2011, again in July of 2017, November 2018, and September, which is the one we now have before us. But am I correct? There's a history of violations being issued against this property beginning as far back as 2011. Do you have knowledge of these violation notices?
Yes, and they're all correct. Now let me explain.
No, you don't have to explain. I just wanted you to confirm that there were violations being issued against this property that go back over 10 years.
And they were all corrected, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else from anyone?
I'll close now.
Okay, please.
So I think essentially this is somewhat straightforward. The board can see from the photos that absent the vacant structural license, which Mr. Feigl did obtain, all these violations clearly exist. There's no steps, there's no handrail, The front of the building's not weatherproofed. There are, the vacant property is not being maintained. On cross-examination, Mr. Feigl admitted that the violations exist. I understand that he has his own plans of things he would like to accomplish here. They're not being accomplished right now. They haven't been in quite some time. He's owned this property for a long amount of time. He's had time to work on all of these things. He has not done that. The property is not only an eyesore, but it's also a danger, I would submit, to the neighbors of the street. And so I'd ask for a city affirm.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Feigl, before we vote, you have any final comment?
Yes.
Okay. If you could make it short, please.
Okay. It wasn't a violation 2 years ago or 3 years in this property. Then all of a sudden it's a violation. I've been diligently working. I should refinance my house to finance this whole project. It's a major thing. All right, I'll have to hire some carpenters and everything else. I hired plumbers and electricians. And all of a sudden, I got this violation out of clear blue while I was already working in the process of working on it. And then I immediately called Mr. Tavell. I made an appeal on October 4th. Got the violation. It was for, where the violation here was. The violation was, 9/21. On October 4th, I put in a violation, and they said you were here in 3 to 4 weeks. And I said, thank you. This is the first I've heard, so over a year later from the city. So obviously the city takes time to do things. It takes me time to do things. And I'm currently working on this.
Okay, thank you very much.
Not fault with people, but
Okay.
it's more difficult to take action and correct things.
Okay. Thank you for your final comments. We will now poll the board on HA-2023-004154 4437 Silverwood Street, Harry Feigl Jr., City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Unanimous vote, city affirmed. Mr. Feigl, that means you lost your appeal. You may appeal our decision. If you need information as to how to do that, call the office. The board administrator will give you information you need as to how to appeal our decision. Thank you very much for your participation. The witnesses are excused. Have a good day. Let's move on to the next case.
Request for case 36 to be called.
36, okay.
Case 36, hearing appeal on 4213, 1239 North Allison Street, Amari Jacks.
Who's representing the city?
Oh, I'm sorry, Kristen Patchell for the city.
Okay, Mr. Amari Jacks. 1239 North Allison Street, Amari Jacks. Okay, no one's
Mr.
responded.
Jacks listed 1239 North Allison Street as his listed mailing address. Notice of this hearing was sent to 1239 North Allison Street on August 19th.
Okay.
What number was that?
That's number 36.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Patchell, no response. What is your pleasure?
I'd ask for a city affirm for non-appearance.
Okay, time for Mr. Pincus.
3:26 p.m.
Thank you very much. We will poll the board regarding HA 2023-004213 1239 North Allison Street, Amari Jackson, City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much.
There was a request for case 30 to be called.
Case 30. Okay.
Case 30, hearing appeal on 4185, 6638 Lansdowne Ave, Kentney, Pierre.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Caitlin Carmody on behalf of the city.
Afternoon. Is anyone present representing the interests of 6638 Lansdowne Avenue, Kentney, Pierre? P-I-E-R-R-E, Kentney, Pierre. 6638 Lansdowne. Okay, no response. Mr. Wade?
Kentney, Pierre listed 300 Wilshire Road, Upper Darby, is his mailing address. Notice of this hearing was sent to 300 Wilshire Road on August 19th.
Okay, alrighty. Ms. Carmody, what's your pleasure?
The city would request a city affirm for non-appearance for this matter.
Okay, time, Mr. Pincus?
3:27 PM.
3:27 PM. All right, thank you. HA-2023-004185, 6638 Lansdowne Avenue, Ketney Pierre, City Affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on.
Back to the normal order, case number 26. Hearing appeal ending 4155, 432 West Erie Avenue, Mary Bonilla.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Brian Kiger on behalf of the city.
Kiger, good afternoon, Mr. Kiger. Anyone present representing the interests of 432 West Erie Avenue, Mary Bonilla, Bonilla, Mary Bonilla. Okay, Mr. Wade, service, please.
Ms. Bonilla listed 9115 Bickley Street, mailing address. Notice this hearing was sent to 9115 Bickley Street on August 16th, 2024.
There's no response, Mr. Kiger. What is your pleasure?
The city requests a city affirm for non-appearance.
Thank you. Mr. Pincus, what time?
3:29 PM.
3:29 PM. Okay, thank you. Okay, HA-2023-004155, 432 West Erie Avenue, Mary Bonilla, City Affirmed, non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Okay, I think that disposes of that matter. Okay, Mr.
Case
Wade.
Case 32, hearing appeal ending 4191, 216 Grape Street, Mildred Jenkins.
Okay, who's the city's attorney?
Ryan Kiger on behalf of the city.
Mr. Kiger, okay. Mildred Jenkins. Is Mildred Jenkins present? 216 Grape Street. Anyone present? Mildred Jenkins or anyone else present regarding 216 Grape Street? Okay, Mr. Wade, service.
Ms. Jenkins listed 216 Grape Street as her mailing address. Notice of this hearing was sent to 216 Grape Street on.
Ms. Jenkins is here.
Okay, ma'am, we'll need to see your image. And we'll need to relabel your device with your name.
She's not available via Zoom.
This is a Zoom hearing. Who's speaking, by the way? Who's speaking?
My name is Josephine Jenkins. I'm her daughter.
Okay, the appeal was by Mary Jenkins. She has to be the person we speak with. Mildred Jenkins, my apologies.
Mildred Jenkins. Yes, and she is here. She is on the phone. She is not available via Zoom. She does not have a computer.
She can use Zoom via her telephone. Does she have a smartphone?
No. She does not have a smartphone.
Okay.
Are you using a smartphone?
I am using a smartphone.
Can she use your phone?
We're not in the same state.
Oh. So how is she on this call? Is she on the call? We need her to speak. Have her speak. She needs to speak for herself. Can she speak for herself?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I need to hear from her.
Okay. Go ahead, Mom.
Hello, I'm here. I hear you.
Okay, ma'am, give us your name.
My name
please.
is Mildred Jenkins.
Okay, is there any reason, ma'am, why you can't access Zoom from your phone or computer?
I don't have the tools. I don't have the skill. I'm not talented.
Okay, hold on a moment. Mr. Kiger, any response?
This appeal was filed over a year ago, and the appellant has had adequate notice. It was just brought to my attention recently that they might have this issue via Zoom. But I believe this is the first hearing, so the city wouldn't have an objection to a continuance.
But
Okay.
Would it remedy the problem, Mr. Kiger?
I'm unsure of that.
Okay, Ms. Jenkins, would you be able to, for instance, go to your local library or go down to the office of Illinois and access the computer
No,
there?
I'm 83 and my home is not vacant.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand what you mean. You don't have
I'm
access,
elderly and I have a sore leg. I'm
so
not
you're not
walking,
mobile.
getting to the library.
Okay, you're not mobile. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. The problem we have, Ms. Jenkins, we're going to be using photographs and a number of other things that you won't be able to visually see. And so I'm having concerns that you won't be able to participate in this hearing. That's the problem.
Could you do it in person?
No, we don't currently have the ability to hold in-person hearings. Now, unfortunately, we don't currently have the ability to do that. If we had in-person hearings, how would you be able to get down to the hearing room downtown? Ma'am?
Probably takes handicap something.
Well, couldn't you do that and come down to the office? You could do that and come down to the, couldn't you do that and come down to the office or go to your library? We want you to have, well, okay. We want you to have
the
a
house
fair.
is not vacant.
Okay, well, that you can't make that argument until we start the hearing. And what I'm saying to you is
Okay.
that we want to make sure you have a fair hearing. And if we proceed without being able to see you and you being able to see the city's witness and evidence, you will not be getting a fair hearing. That's my concern. So the issue is, what do we do?
Would a breakout room possibly?
Yeah, how about
fine.
that? Yeah. The problem, I don't know if you can put her in the breakout room. Mr. Kiger, is there any way you could have a conversation with her in the breakout room that may be able to reach a solution?
Yes, I can try.
Okay.
Let's see.
Okay.
Hold on one
Miss
second.
Miss Jenkins, I'm not sure how your
Yeah.
daughter's helping you, but we're going to try to put you in a separate room with the attorney to see if we could come up with a solution.
He's in there.
Okay, Mr. Kiger, I think she's in there, so you should join him.
Okay. That would bring us to matter.
Mr. Kiger is still with us. He's not. Now he is. Okay. Okay.
Matter number 34. Hearing appeal ending 4216, 196 Widener Street. Naomi Almonte.
Okay. Who's handling that matter for the city?
Caitlin Carmody on behalf of the city.
Afternoon, Ms. Carmody. Okay. Is anyone present representing 196 Widener Street? Naomi Almonte. Anyone present? Naomi Almonte. Okay, no one's responding. Mr. Wade, can you give us a service?
Naomi Almonte listed 196 Widener Street as the mailing address. Notice this hearing was sent to 196 Widener Street on August 19th.
Okay, Mr. Pincus, what time?
3:36 p.m.
3:36 p.m. Okay, alrighty. We will poll the board on. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Carmody. What is your pleasure? I didn't ask you that.
No. We request the city affirm for non-appearance.
Thank you. We will poll the board regarding HA 2023-004216 196 Widener Street, Naomi Almonte. City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirm non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
The affirm for non-appearance.
Ms. Washington, are you voting? Okay, Ms. Washington is not voting in.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty. So let's, that matter's been disposed of. Mr. Wade, what do we have next?
Case number 48, hearing appeal ending 1423, 925 Fillmore Street.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
can I step away? No one's here and someone rang my bell.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. We've maintained a panel, so we're good. Okay.
Bredsley Wilson.
All right. Who's representing the city?
Kristen Patchell for the city.
Okay, Ms. Patchell. Anyone present representing the interests of 925 Fillmore Street? Grizzly Wilson. Grisetley Wilson.
For Sedley Wilson listed 925 Fillmore Street as a mailing address. Notice this hearing was mailed out to 925 Fillmore Street on August 20th.
Okay, thank you. And a late appeal was granted, but no one is present. Okay, what time do we have, Mr. Pincus?
3:38 PM.
3:38 p.m. already. And we will poll the board regarding HA 2023-001423 925 Fillmore Street, Grissetley Wilson, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed for non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Affirmed for non-appearance.
Thank you. Alrighty, what's the next one?
Did Mr. Washington vote?
No, he stepped away.
Okay. Case number 53, hearing appeal ending 2934, 2526 South 64th Street, David Coletta.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, members of the board. Leonard F. Reuter for the city of Philadelphia.
Afternoon, Mr. Reuter. Anyone present representing the interests of David Coletta, 2526 South 64th Street. 2526 South 64th Street.
I see him on the screen, Mr. Chairman. But he's muted.
Okay. Mr. Coletta, would you unmute yourself, please?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
may I be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. Mr. Coletta, please respond.
David Coletta.
All right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Coletta, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. I have a question for you, sir, before we proceed. Whose name is on the deed to this property?
My name, David Coletta.
Anyone else's?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mr. Reuter, you
Sure,
have any
thank-
witnesses?
Yes, I do. I have Inspector Yolanda Tolbert. If she could be unmuted, she's here.
Okay. Inspector Talbot, raise your right hand so that you may be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Reuter, please proceed.
Sure, thank you. Ms. Tolbert, who do you work for?
City of Philadelphia, license and inspection.
And what do you do for the Department of License and Inspections?
I'm a code enforcement officer.
And in the course and scope of those duties, as a code enforcement officer, do you inspect properties?
Yes.
And during your work, did you come to be familiar with the property located at 2526 South 64th Street?
Yes.
Okay. And do you recall when you first came to that property?
It was 2023.
Okay. Now, if I could just for a moment get the board's indulgence to share my screen.
Yes, please.
Thank you. All right. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Ms. Tolbert, this is an overview. Does this overview show where the property is located?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to switch the view here.
You have a good night. You good? Good.
Yeah, we'll look at that tomorrow now.
Okay, we're getting some background noise.
Okay, I'm not sure where that's coming from.
I think it's coming from your witness.
Ms. Tolbert, could you ask if people could be quiet in the background if that's where they're coming from? Are we good?
Yes, I think that's better.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Tolbert, do you recognize this?
Yes.
Does this view indicate the property in question?
Yes.
And what can you just describe in your own words what kind of property this is?
They're all garages.
Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing for a moment. Now, when you came across the property and you did your inspection, did you determine whether there were any violations of the Philadelphia Code?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to share my screen one more time briefly. Now, can you see the screen?
Yes.
All right.
Just enlarge it a bit, Mr. Reuter, please.
Sure. Is that good?
That's good. Thank you.
Thank you. And sorry, having a lot of extra stuff showing up on my screen. When was this? So what are we looking at here on the screen?
The notice of violation,
Okay, and what date was this issued?
June 6, 2023.
Okay, and was this issued on the basis of an inspection that you had done?
Yes.
Okay, and what violations, if any, did you witness at the time?
They needed to obtain zoning to operate, repair, business out of the garage. Certificate of occupancy for doing that and to remove tires, parts, all the combustible waste inside of
Okay.
the garage.
All right. Now, going down to Exhibit B, just indicating for the board, is this indicate who the owner of the property is? Oh,
Yes.
okay, I don't think I can skip this. There's no dispute that Mr. Coletta is the owner of the property. And do you currently know, well, actually, I'm going to skip down, see. And this, do you recognize this?
Yes.
Okay, and is this particular image a photograph that you yourself took?
Yes. There's different people out there doing auto repair on vehicles.
Okay. Is this another picture showing somebody using one of the garage or storage units?
Yes, storage of auto parts, all kinds of combustible storage.
Okay, gonna go to the next photo. And does it, what does that appear to show?
That they're working on a vehicle inside, all the storage of the oil and everything.
Okay, and would you say that there's multiple containers of oil and fluids and other things?
Yes.
And a lot of tools?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to talk to any of these people?
A lot of them didn't want to speak, so I
Okay.
didn't really get any other information.
Sure. Go to Exhibit G. Again, is this a different unit?
That's a different unit.
And does it also appear that somebody's working on automobiles there as well?
Yes.
Okay. And I think there's a better picture. Go to H. What does H show?
The piles of tires that are stored outside of it.
Okay. Another photo. This
More
is
waste
Exhibit I.
inside of, more waste inside of the garages.
Once more.
That's another garage that has a storage up to the ceiling.
Okay. Another one. Same thing.
Yes.
Okay. And again, this is another view of showing the whole collection of garages or storage units. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And at the time of your inspection, did you stop sharing now? At the time of your inspection, did you witness this activity taking place in multiple, we'll call them garages?
Yes.
Okay. And are you aware of the zoning classification for the property?
It's just for garages, not any business should be going on inside of it.
Okay, so it's, if I were to tell you that the zoning for the property is currently CMX2, would that jog your memory?
No.
No? All right. If I can then, if I might share my screen one more time.
Yes.
All right. Are you familiar with what I am showing on the screen here?
It's the
Inspector Top,
picture of
is this,
Atlas of
it's
the
a page?
address.
Okay. And in Atlas, does it, if you, depending on what tabs you click, would it show what the zoning classification for the for various properties is?
Yes.
Okay, and does this, the property I have highlighted here, is at the intersection of 64th and Dickens Avenue. Is that where the property in question is located?
I believe so, yes,
Okay. And does this show that the property in question is zone CMX2?
yes.
Okay. And did you research the property and see whether or not there were any zoning permits or use permits authorizing the use of the property to do personal vehicle repair?
I did research and didn't see any,
You didn't find any permits allowing this activity?
no.
Okay. Were you able to draw any conclusions in terms of the work that was going on to the cars, whether this was a free, let me rephrase that. I'll strike that question. How many times had you gone out to the property?
I think I've gone out there about 4 times.
Okay, and have you seen this activity taking place on more than one occasion?
Yes,
Okay, and each time it was multiple different units that were being used for this work?
yes.
Okay. And if you recall, if you don't recall, just say you don't recall, but if you recall, were they working on the same exact vehicles, or were there now different vehicles at different times that you went out there to look?
I don't recall.
Okay. Were you able to draw any conclusions as to whether people were working on their own private personal vehicles that they happened to own, or whether they were working on other person's vehicles?
I believe it's other people's vehicles because other people were driving up to, get work done on their own vehicle.
Okay. And given if the property is, you had said that you believe that the current lawful use for the property would be for storage facility?
Yes,
Storage units, okay. And would working on doing auto repair at that location be permitted, whether they were working on their own car or somebody else's?
I'm sorry, repeat that?
Are people allowed to work on cars at storage facilities?
No,
Okay. And when was the last time you went out to the property?
last month,
I'm sorry,
last month.
last month. Okay. And again, did you see similar activity taking place then?
At that time, nothing was happening. All the
Oh.
garages were closed.
Oh, I see. Okay. And what about the materials that were being stored outside, the tires and other stuff? Was that cleaned up at all?
No, there's still tires on the side.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Okay. Mr. Coletta, do you have any cross-examination of the witness?
Well, first of all, I want to thank her for giving me a notice.
Mr. Coletta, this is your opportunity to ask a question based on her testimony. You can make a statement when it's your turn to present your case.
Okay. Well, there's no business at the garages.
Sir, do you have a question for the inspector?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Mr. Ryder, do you have any additional witnesses?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. All righty, Mr. Coletta, now is your opportunity to submit your case, to make your point.
There's no business at the garages. There's no anybody doing anything for money. It's not that. It's the people that use the garage with their own vehicles. There is no business at the garages. I live a block away. I'm not going to permit that. I don't want it. And as a matter of fact, I told everybody they can't even park in front of the garages anymore. And I had a bunch of the people's cars towed away yesterday and found 2 stolen cars across the street that they took also.
Okay,
That had
thank
nothing,
you.
that had nothing to do with my property, but
Okay,
there is no business.
okay. All right,
Zero.
thank you. Mr. Ryder, any cross-examination?
No.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Coletta?
I have a few, I hope it's just one question, actually.
Sure.
So, Mr. Coletta, do you lease those garages?
Well, really friends of mine that use them. And in fact, 3 of the garages are actually our family members. what we do is, because you can't park on the street, so people I know get to use them and stuff like that.
Okay, so you did not answer my question. Do you have leases for any of the garage
Oh,
space?
no leases.
And is it your testimony or your representation to this board that the photographs that we saw with, I would say there were at least 10 vehicles or more parked in front of those garages and within the garages, that all of those belong to your friends and family members?
The people that use the garages, yes, that's their cars.
And have you provided have you provided evidence or proof to the city that those cars belong to those persons who are occupying those spaces?
Well, I never knew I had to give the city proof of whose cars were there, but if I'm letting somebody use a garage and they're only working on their own cars, but I did make, and I've had them over 30 years, and the same thing happens now that's been happening for over 30 years. You know, I don't know what to say.
But you don't have any paperwork to show that use, personal repair of their cars is approved by the city. Do you have a permit from the city of Philadelphia allowing your storage units to be used for personal repair of cars?
Of their own cars? No, I don't have, I don't have any,
permit?
no, none of that was required 30 some years ago when
I'm not asking you about 30 years ago.
Okay.
Mr. Coletta, I'm asking you if you have that paperwork now.
No, I don't have any.
Thank you very much, Mr. Coletta.
Okay, Mr. Coletta, the photographs indicated there's a tremendous amount of storage of flammable material. What is it that you permit people to store in those garages?
Well, they put cars, and some of the garages have furniture and things like that.
Okay, but some of them are so filled with material that you can't park a car there.
That's correct. A lot of guys put stuff for storing parts of cars. And the one garage, a guy has his motorcycle and nothing but tools.
Okay. Do you require the individuals who use it to store flammable liquids, etc., to use the proper storage facilities like fireproof cabinets and that sort of thing?
Well, nobody puts flammable liquids.
Yeah, we saw photographs of containers of flammable liquids. And if they're repairing their cars, there's flammable liquids, and those tires are flammable. They have to be stored in
well, everything's flammable.
Yeah, but those things are required by the fire code, have to be stored in certain kinds of containers. Do you have any of that?
Do they have?
Do you have a requirement? Do you have rules in terms of what people can store?
I never did. If you want me to have rules for that, or if they want me to.
Your insurance provider may want you to have rules for that in case there's ever an explosion or a fire. I don't know if you have insurance on it or not.
I never had a problem with insurance or anything.
Okay. Anyone have anything else?
Mr. Coletta?
Yes.
You've owned these garages for a long time. You pay taxes on them every year?
Over 30 years, and I'm current with taxes and everything. I pay them.
And you just let your friends and family use these garages and you're not charging or receiving any payments or income from them? You maintain the garages, you keep them painted, but you don't receive any income from anyone in connection with those garages?
No, some of the people do stuff for me, like at my house, or they'll help us out here where I live. But all those people live right here, right around here near me.
I see, but they do things for you in exchange for your letting them use the garages.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question for Mr. Coletta.
Yes, go ahead.
When you first purchased the properties, insurance company came to provide an inspection or to see your garages?
30 some years ago. Yeah, 30 years.
And they've never been back to see the garages since then?
I don't know. I don't know if
Okay.
they've been back. I mean,
And at the time, were they filled with vehicles at the time, or were they just empty at the time?
it's been the same the entire time that I've had them. And even before I've had them, it was my brother-in-law that had them, Christ, 25, 30 years before that. And the
So
same
25
thing is, so it's over.
25 years ago, the garages looked filled just the same as they look now. Is that what you're testifying to?
Some did, some didn't. And they're not all filled like that. Some did and some didn't. Not
you.
all of them.
Thank you, sir.
Some have furniture in them. And some people put like boxes in them, fill them with boxes because, you know, I guess stuff from their house.
Combustibles. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, anything from anyone else? Okay, Mr. Coletta, before we vote, I just want general comment to be made. How close are the closest residential buildings to those garages?
Half a block.
So on either side, there's no houses
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No houses at all. And the lot in back of the garages is vacant. And that's part of the property. And there's no property connected to them. The closest houses would be on the other side of the street. And
Okay.
I guess the street's about, well, it's a 2-lane highway, as you can see in the pictures, with parking on each side.
Okay. Alrighty. Now the Mr. Coletta, what I would encourage you to do is take a hard look at what's stored there and to come to terms with the fire code requirements for storage of those kinds of materials before we vote.
So
Any closing arguments, Mr. Rauner?
sure, I would just say that again, we've seen no dispute that there have been people working on vehicles at the storage place. I would indicate that again, you're not even really allowed to work on your own car and on your front yard. It has to be in a proper location where you do that work. I can say, and I'll represent to the board, that there is no zoning archive for this property, but we do believe that it's a non-conforming storage facility or garage facility because storage is not a permitted use in CMX2. So but again, they clearly were built as storage units or garages back probably in the 30s or 40s. So we're willing to accept that it's a non-conforming storage facility. But again, there's no dispute that people were working on their cars. They were cited for that work they were doing. And again, Mr. Coletta's testimony seemed to be somewhat contradictory, where he's saying nobody was doing this on other people's cars, and they're just working on their own vehicles. But then he himself says that he had everybody move those vehicles and relocate them. So again, it seems we don't know what if people were charging other people for doing this work. Those would all be other violations, as you heard from the inspector. The people that were there were reluctant to talk to her about that, and it's doubtful that they would have admitted that they were accepting, money under the table to do work. But I think the pictures speak for themselves that this wasn't just a situation where people just, for somehow like half a dozen people in half a dozen different storage units all decided to start working on their cars. You saw how many tools and how many extra supplies that were there. Extra tires, extra containers of oil, antifreeze, other things like that, a multitude of tools and things like that, that again, on their face goes well beyond that. But again, even if people were just working on their own vehicles, it's still not permitted under the zoning code. This at best is a non-conforming storage facility. So the city would ask that the violation be affirmed.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. We will now poll the board on HA-2023-002934 2526 South 64th Street, David Coletta, City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Thank you. Mr. Coletta, there's a unanimous vote, city affirmed, which means that you've lost your appeal. You may appeal our decision if you'd like. If you need information, please call the administrator and they will give you information you need to make the appeal. Thank you so much for your participation. The witnesses are excused.
Thank you.
Okay, where do we go next, Mr. Wade?
We only have two matters left. We have 58 but we also have the Mildred Jenkins matter. I don't know if that.
Okay, are they still in the breakout room? Oh, Mr. Kiger is back. Mr. Kiger, what is anything you can share with us?
Yes, we were able to come to a verbal agreement that I'd like to put on the record.
Okay, let Mr. Wade read the case in again, and then you can do that. Mr. Wade?
Case number 32, hearing appeal ending 4191, 216 Grape Street, Mildred Jenkins.
Brian Kiger on behalf of the city, and we have come to a verbal agreement for a city affirm with a 30-day stay of enforcement.
City affirm 30-day stay. Okay. Is Ms. Jenkins still on the line?
I believe so.
Ms. Jenkins, are you still available? Are you still with us? Okay, no one is responding. As an officer, Mr. Kiger, we will accept your representation as being authentic and true. So that's, please note for the record, city affirm 30-day stay. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay, we have one matter left.
Yes, she was in the breakout room. I just want to let her know that her case is over.
Okay.
Ms. Jenkins?
We're back in the main section. Okay.
Yes.
We're back in the main section. Okay.
Oh.
The attorney read your agreement under the record. You can leave the hearing if you'd like.
Oh, so we're all set?
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay.
The last matter, case number 58, hearing appeal ending 3665, 7348 Frankfurt Ave. Ashraf Nassar.
Okay. Who's representing the city?
Lee Bagelman on behalf of the city.
Mr. Bagelman. Okay. Ashraf Nassar.
He was there.
He's
Okay.
muted. He's muted, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Let's see if we can help him get unmuted. Okay.
I got him. Mr. Nassar.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Hello?
if you would, yes, we hear you. I need you to stay remain stationary so that we can see your face, and moving around creates problems for us. So we need you to have a seat.
Okay, one second. Hello?
Yes. Okay, that's a lot better. Okay, sir, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you raise your right hand so you can be sworn?
Okay.
Okay, all right, put your hand in front of your face so I can see it. Raise your right hand, sir. Okay, Mr. Nassar, are you understanding what I'm asking you?
Yeah, I put the phone in the hand, yeah.
But I need to see your hand. Can you just put it near your face so I can? Your right hand, yes. Okay. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today will be the truth to help you God?
Yes, I swear to God, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Place your hand down.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, who's representing the city again? Mr. Bagelman, do you have any
Yes.
witnesses?
Yes, Inspector Jamal Tucker.
Okay. Mr. Tucker? Okay, Mr. Tucker, if you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You can place your hand down, Mr. Bagelman.
Yes, good afternoon, Inspector Tucker.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
Good. Can you please state your name and where you're employed?
Yes, my name is Jamal Tucker. I'm employed for the city of Philadelphia for license and inspections QOL department.
And what is QOL?
Quality of life.
Great, thank you. Are you familiar with the property located at 7348 Frankfurt Avenue?
Yes.
How did you become familiar with this property?
I was conducting corridor inspections for the business corridor of Frankfurt Avenue.
Okay, and did you issue any violation notices for this property during that sweep of the corridor?
I did. I issued a cease property operations due to violation that was present.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Give me one moment. Can you see my screen, Inspector Tucker?
Yes.
Great. I'm going to show you what I previously marked as Exhibit A. Can you identify this document for the board?
Yes, this is a violation notice to correct the order. So it's a NOV, notice of a violation.
And what was the date of this notice?
August 31st, 2024.
When you mentioned you issued a violation notice, was this the violation notice you were referencing, or was there another violation notice?
This is the notice.
Okay. The date, August 31st, what brought you to 7348 Frankfurt Avenue?
I was directed by my supervisor to check the address due to there being activity, being as though that the property was already under a cease for not having a food license. So the property was already under cease. So we got a call that the owners were still operating from the property. So we went and checked it out. And at that point in time, there was no access. So I continued to do my regular inspections throughout the business corridor. And I was informed like an hour or so later that there was this truck outside and they were taking stored meat into the side of the property. And that's what prompted me to come back and get the pictures.
Great, thank you. So you mentioned there was the property at 7348 Frankfurt Avenue was already subject to a cease operations, and you said that did not have a food prep license. Is that correct?
Correct.
So is this a restaurant located at 7348 Frankfurt Avenue?
It's a cafe.
Okay. Are you familiar with? Is that property have any zoning use permits associated with it?
Yes, they have zone. They are zoned for. Hold on, I'm looking at the permit now. It's a zoning for packaged food, I believe.
For prepared food?
Yeah, prepared food. I'm sorry.
Okay, great, thank you. So this property was already subject to a cease. You're doing another inspection of the ceased property. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And so you said you observed them with a truck outside the property. Is that correct?
Yes, there was a box truck.
Okay, and what were they doing with that box truck?
They were taking the slaughtered carcasses of animals into the property.
Okay, I am going to flip forward to the next page of my next part of my exhibit packet. Just a warning for anyone viewing the screen, a little content warning. There are deceased animals that will be shown on the screen. So if that makes you uncomfortable, please avert away from the screen. I'll give you a moment. I'm going to show you what I've previously identified as Exhibit B. Is this? Can you identify the court what this image on the screen?
Yes, this is the box truck with the slaughtered meats, the slaughtered animals. It appears to be lamb, and it looks like. And he was attempting to close it as I was taking a picture.
And so you took this picture?
Yes, I took the picture.
And this is outside the property at 7348 Frankfurt Avenue?
Yes.
Is this in the front of the property, the rear of the property? Where was this picture taken?
The rear side. It's on the side street.
So you observed people unloading slaughtered carcasses from this truck and bringing them into the building?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm going to flip to the next page, what I previously identified as City Exhibit B. Can you identify this image for the board?
Yes, this is the picture that I took from the corner as I was pulling up to property.
Okay, please continue.
Okay.
Yes, this is a picture that I took from the corner of Frankfurt Avenue as I was pulling up.
Great. I'm going to flip to the next page. And is this the same? This is also a picture you took?
Yes.
Of the side of the property?
Correct.
I'm going to zoom in. Is this person taking one of these animals from this truck with his bare hands? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And they were bringing this into the building at 7348 Frankfurt Avenue.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned previously that the building has a zoning use permit for a prepared food. That's correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is storage of animal products consistent with that zoning use permit?
Not to my knowledge, no.
If to store carcasses like this, does the city require a change of use, a new zoning use permit?
Yes.
Would that be for storage of animal products?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I'm gonna flip. Well, so what after you observed this individual bringing slaughtered animals into the property at 7348 Frankfurt Avenue, what did you do? What did you do next?
Well, I approached. It was two men at the time when I approached. One was out coming out, and me and another inspector approached them, and I asked him, what was he doing? And he said he's just storing. He's not open. He knew who I was by seeing my shirt and my ID. So he said he's not open. They're not, they're not operating. They're just storing the meat there. So then I told him, I said, are you properly zoned for that? This is not, you don't have zoning for that. So we went back and forth. It wasn't nothing, it was not a heated exchange or anything like that. We just went back and forth. I was trying to explain to him that he has to have proper zoning and that the store, well, the property is already ceased. So therefore he cannot operate even in that capacity as what he's doing, so he then just was telling me that he's not using it. He's not cutting anything. He's just storing it. So I then proceeded to call my supervisor and asked what was the next plan of action. Therefore, then I was instructed to put another cease sticker on it and cease it for the violation of no zoning.
I'm going to bring up the next page of the city exhibit packet. Is this that cease poster that you just referenced?
Correct.
On the screen?
Yeah.
And what is does it list what's the violation that's listed on this poster?
To obtain zoning for use of slaughterhouse and rear property.
And you posted this on the side entrance of the property?
Yes.
In terms of the next page of the city exhibit packet, is this the location of that cease operations poster?
Yes, correct.
I'm going to go back to the beginning of the city exhibit packet, city exhibit A. And I previously showed you this violation notice. Did you issue this violation notice after this encounter with the individuals at 7348 Frankfurt Avenue?
Yes, this was issued after I did my complaint, my paperwork, and we send it to be checked by the supervisor and they send it out. They send out the notice of violation.
Great. And what's the violation listed on this notice?
Use of registration permit is required for every new use commenced on any land or in any structure. Return the subject premise to its approved usage or secure the proper permit for its present use. So the code violation is A301.1/65. And condition in the violation is obtain updated zoning permits required to legalize storage of raw meat and animal byproducts.
And so the Philadelphia code language you read there says return the subject premise to its approved usage.
Correct.
I'm going to flip forward in the city exhibit packet to what I previously marked as City Exhibit C. Can you identify this document for the board?
Yes, this is a zoning permit.
What's the address of this for this zoning permit?
7348 Frankfurt Avenue.
And we talked previously that this has a zoning use permit for a prepared food shop. Is this that zoning permit?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so to return to the previous use would just be to return to a prepared food establishment.
Correct.
Correct. Have you reviewed other files stored by the Department of License and Inspections with respect to this property?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Are you aware of any zoning permit applications that were issued or submitted on behalf of this property since the time of your the violation notice?
Yeah, I was informed that they had applied for zoning after, this violation had been posted, and that they were trying to get the correct zoning for it. But I haven't viewed it myself. I was just told by my superiors
Okay.
that that's what it was.
That's okay. If you're not aware, we don't have to won't ask you further questions on that.
Okay.
That's all the questions I have for Inspector Tucker.
Okay. Mrs. Nassar, do you have any cross-examination questions for the inspector?
No, I tell him I am this storage.
Yeah. I'm asking if you have any questions for him based on his testimony.
No. No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Begelman, do you have any additional witnesses?
I do not.
Okay. All right, Mr. Nassar, tell us your part of what's going on.
I only use this storage. I have lease with the owner because in a rare this apartment is a separate.
Okay. Just one moment, sir, before you continue. Mr. Begelman, if you could close the screen share. There you go. Thank you. Okay, Mrs. Nassar, continue.
I told the inspector this. I use this for all the storage. I have some animal I killing outside in a slaughterhouse with a USD. After this, I make a delivery outside. Sometimes I have like some. I have some extra. I use it for storage, and I take it outside second days.
Okay. All right. Anyone have any questions, Mr. Nassar? Any cross, Mr. Begelman? Do you have any cross examination?
Very briefly, if I may share my screen again.
Yes.
One moment. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Mr. Nassar, I'm going to show you what I previously marked as City Exhibit D. Are you familiar with? Can you identify this document for the board? Excuse me.
Yeah, I see it's not slaughterhouse. I only use it for the storage.
Right. So is this the appeal you filed?
Yes, this is my.
It says that you use the space for storage.
Yes.
I have no further questions.
Okay. All right. Anyone else have any questions of Mr. Nassar?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Nassar, in that back area where you store those carcasses, is that area, does that area contain freezer cabinets or locked freezer storage units for those meats?
No, it's a back area. I make like a refrigerator. I build the refrigerator on the side, inside this back area.
So you just store those animal carcasses out in the open, is that correct?
Yes, I only use like storage. This animal is killing at the slaughterhouse outside with yours today. I only use this build for storage. I no use it. I no cutting. I no do anything inside. I only use for storage.
Okay. And after you store them there, what do you do with the carcasses?
I have some customer I deliver outside is Delaware, New Jersey. I delivered it to some store.
And how many days? I'm sorry, I retract that. Thank you, Mr. Nasser.
Anyone else have any questions?
Yes, I do. I'm just wondering, Mr. Nasser, do you understand that if you're keeping raw meat in buildings in the city of Philadelphia, there might be some regulations that apply and that there's certain approvals that you need? You just can't go rent a space and put the carcasses in a space? Did you look into whether you needed any special permits or approvals in order to use this space?
No, I asked some people, I say, because you know do any sale inside the store. I asked someone, he tell me, I don't understand, and I tell me you don't need any license, because you know sell anything in the store. Because I don't sell anything, I put some stuff. I when I do delivery, sometimes I have some extra. I leave it and I storage and I deliver it for the second day. I no sale. I no use this only storage. I no sell anything inside.
Thank you.
Anyone
I have a
else?
question for Mr. Nassar.
Yes.
Mr. Nassar, do you happen to know what the temperature is in that area where you have those carcasses stored at?
I don't understand what the question.
Do you know what the temperature is in the area where you have those carcasses stored? How cold is it temperature-wise?
Yeah, I put the refrigerator in the side storage. I put like 37 to 40 degrees. I put some for a meat. I have refrigerator on the side. I have refrigerator was a temperature outside inside my storage.
Inside your storage.
Yeah.
37 to 40 degrees.
Yes.
Do you know if that's the regulated requirement for meat storage?
Yeah, I ask. I don't understand, but I asked the guy. I have friend. They have store meat, and he tell me you can do 40 degrees. He can me and tell me.
So you never asked anyone from the Philadelphia Health Department?
No, because I not asked.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Nassar, you have any final comments to make that would be helpful to us? Anything? None?
No, now I apply for a permit, and after I got approved for a zoning for a permit, I can apply with the health department after I got a permit. I apply for a permit for storage.
Okay. Mr. Begelman, any final argument?
Very briefly, members of the board, the city's concerned that this space is being used for the storage of slaughtered animals without the requisite zoning, as Inspector Tucker testified, and as you saw, this property's received a zoning use permit for prepared food only to use the space for storage, including the storage of slaughtered animals. The property owner, the operator, needs to change the use of this property. As Mr. Nassar has alluded to, he submitted an application to change the use to storage that was rejected, but they're still undergoing a review process and he can continue to pursue those efforts to change the use classification to allow for the storage of slaughtered animals. But for now, for the purposes of this violation, Mr. Nassar admitted in his appeal form and admitted in his testimony that he is using this space to store slaughtered animals. As you saw from the pictures, we ask that this violation notice and the associated cease operations order are affirmed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we take the vote, may I request a very brief executive session?
Yes, please. We're going to go off the record for a few moments. We'll be back. It's 4:27. We should be back around 4:35.